that mean we're live on the internet? Ooh, hello.
Hi.
Hi. We are continuing our variant roles adventure into Dungeon of the Mad Mage, into Undermountain. This time we are doing level 16, the Crystal Labyrinth. And I'd like to go around and just have us all introduce ourselves really quickly, and let's say who we're playing just in brief as well. Let's start with Alexis.
Okay. Hi. I'm Alexis. I oh goodness. You can find me on at Dice Priori and also on Twitter at VoxFinato. And we do all kinds of cool stuff over at Dice Priori. Like we have a Wednesday game at 7 Central. It's full of chaos and wonderfulness. And I also have started crafting on that channel. Got new stuff coming up. I can talk about that at the end. But I'm going to be playing Zira. She is a Githzerai druid, and I'm excited to bring her into the world.
All right. Let's go down below. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Is that on me? Yeah.
Sure.
It looks different on.
Overlay's different. Yeah.
I'll say it's me then. Okay, so I'm Samuel. I can be found on Twitter at Eldritch Warlock, although I'll be honest, I'm not really that active on Twitter. I can also be found on the RPG Lab on their Monday game as Sayescus, the UNT Warlock. But tonight, or this evening, or this afternoon, depending on your time zone, I have the honour of returning as Five Thorns of the Blossom, a tabaxi bard who once went to Dragon Heist with the Summer Crew, aka the Friday Crew, aka the Disaster Crew, and he is now throwing himself headfirst into Dungeon of the Mad Mage, questioning his life decisions and why he didn't decide to return to Waterdeep with his darling wife instead of risking his life once more. But then he's not exactly all there, so.
All right, and Adam?
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm going to be playing Jord, a Scourge Azamar Warlock Hexblade. You can find me on the internet at Adam_J_Pearson. I talk about nerdy things like D&D and geology. That's about it.
All right, and Zach?
Hi, I'm Zach. This is my first ever live stream game, so I'm not nervous at all. I'm playing Atrian Highsaber. You can find me on the internet at Sir Gorls. Gorls is Gourls. I talk about D&D and teaching English to high schoolers. And yeah, that's about it.
All right. And I am Nat, at CrimeNat, KREIM Nat on Twitter. I DM here. You can also catch me Wednesdays and Mondays at over other places. We'll go around afterwards and talk a little bit about that. But right now I'm excited to jump into this dungeon level. And we're actually going to start ever so slightly before you get there. It is the night before. You're camping on the level above. You found the exit down to the next level.
We've already done one thing right.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from here, though.
Yeah, it's night before. You're pretty fresh today, but you want to be maximum fresh for the next day. And you've heard that you've heard some horrible things in this next level. That there are these crazy, murderous Gith and a bunch of dragons and mind flayers everywhere, and you're a little nervous. And the night before, what Fives?
Mm-hmm.
What is going through your head before you dive down to the next level the night before?
As Five, I am in two minds of my current situation. On the one hand, I am doing my duty to the Harpers. I am doing the duty I have sworn my life to. On the other hand, I am once more separated from my wife after being kidnapped by the Xanathar, and I am risking my life once more with the risk of not returning to her. So I am both anticipating what is to come and dreading it and hoping that the worst does not happen. And this conflict is kind of being presented in a very distant melody. He's plucking on his viol, or his violin.
All right. And Zira, you're ready to go for the next day. It is night before, just before going to bed. What's going through Zira's head?
Yes, I am just trying to think of what I'm going to need for the next day. I know that where there are mind flayers, there are always people who are going to need help, so gotta go tend to them. And worried about how many Gith Yankee are gonna just attack me on sight for who and what I am. That sort of thing.
All right. And Jord, same question.
Zord is contemplative. Ever since he picked up this weapon, this Morning Star, the Dark Blossom, it has driven him forward to adventure and glory. Perhaps this is more of the latter, or more of the former, or it is something new. He's not sure, but he will embrace it.
And of course,
Adrian feels assured that despite the grave odds that he and his friends face, that Torm will see them to victory, and is planning to assure them all that as long as they stay behind him, they'll be fine.
all right. Anything you'd like to do before you go to sleep for the night?
I'm going to just touch a point in space, in where the resting is happening, and the 30 feet around it become basically invisible. We get it's kind of any fire inside it will become dimmed, and we can get a little bonus to our perception and stealth checks while within it. And I'll also go ahead and start casting alarm out of my ritual book around the perimeter.
So you are thoroughly warded as you go and tuck yourself into sleep.
Yeah.
The cold, hard ground of Undermountain on your back. And you are rudely awakened, all of you, by that same alarm going off. Burp, 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 burp.
Oh, no.
And as you roll over, standing there on the edge of your alarm is a very fat squirrel. Just.
I didn't pack this today. All right.
Are we all up?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, wake everyone up.
Hey, buddy, what do you want?
And the squirrel, like, then it runs away.
This was an illusion, yes? This was not real?
I mean, you think squirrels can't be real?
We are very far underground.
Alastair's tricks.
Indeed. He is a trickster Trixie.
Yes.
Also a bit of an ass.
I'd
like to.
That was illusion. I just really want to sleep right now.
Yeah.
So you
So-
did finish your long rest before it woke you up, by the way.
Okay.
It is
I'll just take a
Morning.
look around the perimeter.
Everything seems how you left it last night, save a few squirrel prints in the dirt.
I mean, illusions don't leave prints.
I suppose that is fair.
I don't think.
But then polymorph and familiars and beastbond and so many other things do. So that isn't exactly reassuring.
I knew all of those words, but I did not understand what you were saying. It's okay, though.
Basically, that squirrel could be a squirrel, but that could also be bad news.
That I understand.
So, the spider that is my familiar, Lunara, just kind of crawls around and say, I could take an hour and Lunara could become something that's a little bit better for us to scout if you want. I mean, I like to have her on my shoulder, but maybe a bat? What do you guys think?
What won't stand out where we're going?
I mean, we're in a mountain, so a bat,
There.
right? What do
Not
I
a
think?
squirrel.
Not a squirrel. Squirrel stands out.
Squirrel does indeed stand out.
Well, I will admit, and a friend of mine makes good use of his little spider familiar, so perhaps there's not so much need to change their form. At least,
Sorry, what did you say?
It's worth noting that the spiders are not wholly uncommon under mountain because there is a large drow infestation on mini levels. So spiders are around.
They just
Did
don't
the-
move as fast, and they also can't fly.
Yeah. Did the
Yeah,
squirrel go
facts.
off in a particular direction that we noticed?
It headed down the path towards the next level down, the Crystal Labyrinth.
Ah! It is a laster. Says
Or
totally.
perhaps it is a friend.
Yeah.
Or a third
friend?
party.
Well, maybe.
Hmm.
Or it is a very lucky and very lost squirrel.
Maybe
Always
it
not.
needs. Look, maybe the squirrel is a representation, and we need to go follow it to see what is in store for our future.
I will be honest, I get enough of that from his already, his whole portents and divination. But perhaps you have a point. At least let's not just lie here any longer. I am aching to get a move on.
Indeed.
Literally, my back is killing me.
So,
Alright.
Zira starts just putting on her studded leather armor and picks up her shield, which is got this eye on it that is bright green and just constantly searching around, and it's really unsettling. And she's, wrapping her belts around her with way too many satchels, and she puts her hair back up in this very messy braid, which is secured with a few bones of you're not sure what kind of creatures. And all right, well, no time like the present, right, folks?
Indeed. It is the only time we live in.
All
That's
right.
true.
I'm always
Hey.
saying that,
As you
except
head
for
down,
when we're not.
True.
as you head down the path, you travel for about an hour. And slowly the more regular stonework of the 15th level makes way to jutting crystals that glow a bright, vibrant blue. And they start intermittently. And over a period of time, they begin to form the entirety of the walls. But not the floor. The floor is still smooth stone of this passageway. And eventually you open up into a large geoded complex with arched passageways between rooms that you can see through. But as you're looking, you are drawn to a few dozen bodies of humanoids that are bled and splayed open, killed all over the floor. Zero, you would immediately recognize these as Githyanki. In fact, there are even a few Githyanki that have been encased within the stalag. What's the ones that come from the ceiling? Tights?
Tight.
Yeah.
Stalactites.
Yeah. And these stalactites hover over these silvery purple pools of fog. And inside the stalactites are Githyanki that have been encased, but you can tell from their decomposing eyes that they are long dead.
Well, that's not great. I forgot to mention. Sorry, Could we potentially reckon? I wanted to make us a nice breakfast, a nice heroic breakfast worthy of heroes.
Well, upon getting here, you just thought pops into your head, and you could indeed.
You know,
Take
I
a
haven't
break.
eaten anything yet. I don't know how I forgot to do that.
I could eat.
Sometimes, my mind wanders, and I forget about the things that,
I'm a little troubled at the fact that seeing dead thieves reminds you have not yet eaten.
Well, we're going to need our strength for whatever did this.
That's true.
It is a reminder of the circle of life. We all live, we all die, we all must eat.
Right. Knowing things die makes you remember that you're alive and you need to take care of that. Eating keeps you alive. Let's do that.
I don't know if I should follow that train of thought or I should be wary of that train of thought, but you are offering food, so right now I shall indulge in my feline instincts and trust you.
So I'm going to cast Hero's Feast, and we're going to take an hour to eat some nice breakfast.
Right next to the lovely corpses.
Yeah. Just, some of these crystals are nice height for like a table and chairs. So we're good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the eyes staring at. Don't worry about it.
Adrian's totally looking at all the eyes all the time.
Always. So Adrian, you find a good stalagmite and just lop the top off of it for a table, and you got a good, nice table about standing height as you just invoke this beautiful, luscious breakfast with breads and meats and foods.
Yep. So
yeah.
we all get some benefits now for the next 24 hours. I'm gonna roll 2d10, and that's gonna increase our hit point maximum. Okay. By 12.
About 30 minutes in, the squirrel comes by.
Are you hungry?
Jumps up on the table.
You hungry?
Wait.
Can I get a read on this squirrel at all?
The squirrel does not to your question. This is disturbing.
You can make a insight or animal handling, either one.
We'll try the insight thing.
Would I be okay?
Actually, I think they're...
Because Fives is trying to stop the instinct to just throw a dagger at it. So can I do an insight as well to try and stay his hand?
Go ahead.
Okay. I've got a 24 to insight.
That's some insight.
I got 26.
Oh, that's
nice. Nice.
Hi, people. How you doing? Level 14.
Hey,
Or you have no secrets from us.
So the squirrel that you've got a 26 insight on, staying there, and you identify two things. First of all, the squirrel seems hungry.
There you go, buddy.
And he takes a little bit of bread and nibbling. And then your second one, this squirrel's definitely just responded to a question. It seems to know language. You're thinking that might mean it's a little less squirrel, a little more something else.
I'm just gonna speak. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And after it scarfs down a little bit of bread, it turns up to and it opens its mouth, and a very humanoid-sounding language comes out and goes, "Hello. I am speaking to you through my familiar. My name is Marquox. Thank you for feeding him. He was hungry."
I guess you are welcome.
This is Lunara, and Lunara just kind of groups forward. This one's mine.
The squirrel reaches out and boots your spider on the nose, kind of.
Lunara, with one of her legs, just kind of boops the snoot of the squirrel.
Just eating.
Adrian just slowly resheathes his greatsword. Certain that was Halaster.
I'm still twirling the dagger.
Sure. The squirrel turns to you and kind of gesticulates. It sits back on its haunches and gesticulates with its forward legs as it just talks in a disturbingly humanoid manner. And I was
Not phased.
I was a prisoner here before some horrible creatures came through and murdered everyone, but I kind of got left imprisoned. So if you could come help me out, I could offer you everything I own. Admittedly, not very much, but please.
What kind of creatures came and did this to you?
There's these weird, horribly
This kind?
tentacle faced, and
Yeah.
cephalopod heads.
Those
And
fuckers.
were just they would gesture, and the creatures that were capturing me would just fall over dead.
Hmm.
It was horrifying, but also somewhat cathartic because they were pretty mean.
Right.
Can you describe where you are?
Yes. It might be easier to show you. And the squirrel, just about as you're finishing the meal, hops down and walks about halfway out of the room, and turns gestures with its tail and says, "Come on."
All right. So we're all our hit point maximum is increased by 12 points. We are immune to poison. You're cured of all diseases if you had any. And wisdom saving throws are made with advantage.
Awesome.
Oh, and aren't you immune to fear too?
Yeah.
Yes, and fear. My bad. Yes, and fear.
Question: did you designate the squirrel?
I mean, doesn't it have to eat for like the full hour?
That's true. It didn't do that. It just filled its belly.
Only had like a half hour, so.
Its stomach is only this big, so it can't.
I can't eat for a full hour. I can't get a hero's feast.
Yeah, that's right.
Poor squirrel.
Poor squirrel. All right. So, do you follow the squirrel?
Oh yeah.
Alright.
We're following the squirrel, right?
Are we worried?
Somebody needs help.
No. Someone needs help.
I am hesitant
Okay.
to trust, but
Just,
as you said, someone needs help.
just asking.
That's right.
Of course, if they are tricking us, then we would just shank them. So, either way,
Squirrel
things are
tells us.
promising.
All right. So the squirrel leads you through some more rooms with much a similar level of carnage as the previous ones, and more of these silvery misted pits that the squirrel definitely avoids. And every single pit has a stalagmite with a Githyanki encased inside it above it. It's very consistent in
As
that
we're
bit.
going past one of them at some point, because I have two different coloured eyes, a yellow and a red. My red eye flares slightly, and I'm casting Detect Magic.
Sure.
Oh, that's nice.
So the squirrel's I bonked my headset. The squirrel's magic. The silvery pools have a conjuration aura about them.
Okay.
You think there might be some sort of portal effect? And as he leads you through, you come upon a circle on the ground with purple runes and a red pedestal in the middle of it. And that also is steeped in conjuration magic. Next to the pedestal, the squirrel walks up and kind of prods with its forepaw. Is a black rod about a foot in length. And noticeably, the pedestal has a hole in it, like a divot, where you might put said rod. There's a squirrel, and that one also has conjuration magic upon it. And as the squirrel approaches there, he goes back on his haunches and says, "So I had to have my familiar rig up this whole ritual circle to transport him from where I am to here. It took a very long time. But all you have to do is put the rod in the hole, and it should help you get to where I am, roughly. It's a little bit of margin of error there."
Margin of error. Interesting.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
100 feet.
I'm going to drop back slightly so I'm with the rest of my group and just whisper. The misty pools you're passing, they have conjuration magic involved with them. Similarly to this pedestal, I am not saying they are from the same source of magic, but that both would have the same effect, so as the squirrel showed us, this is probably wise to avoid said misty pools.
Right.
Now, do we
Hey.
wish to put our trust in this unknown man who says he had a contact with Illithid and is yet in his right mind?
Can I
Well,
make an insight check?
Yeah.
Was that?
I'm gonna make an insight check on
Absolutely.
Yes, I'd like to
13.
give you guidance on that.
Oh,
And
Uh.
and I'd like to assist. I just want to get a read. What's the squirrel's aura? You know.
You can make your own roll. Insight
Oh, okay.
roll is probably just do it yourself instead of helping someone else do it.
Totally fine. I'll still give you guidance.
Cool.
gives me
So
a D4, right?
yeah.
Yep.
And then 0, what's yours?
14.
Ooh.
Mine, good sir. Oh, mine's not so great. Mine's a 13.
The squirrel, who is being pretty forthright with you at this point, about its existence and what it is, seems honest. Seems like it honestly needs help. And you don't think that the ritual circle with the rod is going to kill you, based on your read of it.
Well, this is strange, but seems on the up and up.
It does occur to you, anyone with the arcana proficiency, let's say, does someone have that?
Oh, yes,
Okay, someone has
Thank
it.
God.
So 0, it occurs to you that
I do.
a familiar inscribing a teleportation magic circle is some very high level arcane conjuring. So
Okay.
whoever's familiar with this is probably quite powerful magically.
Hmm. So we're dealing with quite a powerful magic user here. Because I don't know too many people who can transfer this amount of information and knowledge to their familiar, let alone possess the information themselves. So I don't know. Do with that information what you all will. What do we want to do?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that information was supposed to put us at ease or make us more nervous.
Sometimes information's just information.
Exactly. Information for the sake of information is always a good thing. Besides, what is life without a little bit of chaos? Let's see what happens.
I don't know how much you know about my people, but we tend to create order out of chaos, so
Oh, that is yours.
barking up the wrong tree.
Before we go any further, Jord like waves his hand and casts false life upon himself as a free action because
Nice.
Because you could do this multiple times, you can just do 8.
well, 10 pinpoints don't stack.
No, but you could keep doing it until you go a 4.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So, are we in agreement?
Think so.
I'm
The
going
squirrel gives a very non-squirrel-like smile.
to. Okay, that is
Please-
just creepy. Stop.
Please stop that.
I smile weirdly back at it.
And it points its big bushy tail at the rod.
I'm going to sketch
Come
a
here,
quick
buddy.
sigil in the air, and I'm casting Mage Hand.
Sure.
And I'm going to have that pick up the rod.
And the squirrel says, "Now you're gonna need to be a little close when you put it in for the magic to work." But
I
I'll be
gesture
right
to
here.
the squirrel. Like, you want up? You want up? Lunara's here. You want up on this one? This one's free.
This familiar eyes eyes the spider a little bit. All right. And he rounds up the side and sits on your shoulder.
I like your aura. Yeah, it's nice.
I
I
think
like
there
what
was
you
a
got
good.
going on.
I think there was a good. That's what she said joke there, and I just missed it. Damn it! And he's just going to start moving the rod over so it's directly above where it needs to be inserted.
Sitting there.
So, final vote.
I suppose we are going.
The squirrel puts its paw up.
You don't get the vote.
I thought it'd be funny.
Lunara puts a leg up.
Think we're ready.
Okay then. Well, let's hope this does not tear our bodies apart, summon a great fire demon.
Fives, put the rod in.
Fine, ruin my fun. And I just dropped the rod.
Okay, so this rod slots in. The magic, the red crystal pedestal flares with light, and that light, you can almost see the magic in the air, rolls off, hits the circle, and is amplified out in as you and a number of ravaged Githyanki bodies get caught up in magic, and it's a strong popping noise as you are teleported, and then silence as you can see a beautiful vista of stars to your left. And as you turn in the air, right about then you're noticing that you're suffocating in the air, in the void of space. And to your right is the planet of Toril and its beautiful vista. It's like a map, but it's super hyper realistic and circular and absolutely breathtaking as you have no air. And then off in front of you, and you can see this squirrel like clutching its throat, and the Githyanki body is tumbling in the air. You see a rock with crystals veined through it, hurtling through the air towards you. And just as the lack of oxygen is starting to get to you, it rushes by you, and suddenly, as soon as it gets within 120 feet of you, you are enveloped into an air envelope and can breathe. The temperature is a comfortable warm, and you begin getting pulled towards this meteorite as you begin to orbit around it. As you're going, you see on the starboard side of the meteorite, coming around from behind it, a large nautiloid spacefaring vessel carrying a number of mind flayers, and first you just seems like it's coming at you, but then you see their attention is behind them as they're being chased by a gigantic red dragon through the air, through space, with two of its younger red dragon children following it as you rocket past. As the dragons breathe their fire at the vessel, you feel the heat of their flame as you orbit around this meteorite and begin to hit an approach pattern. Towards the back of the meteorite, there is a literal dock that has been built out from the meteor, and it looks like you're going to slam into it. Does anybody have anything they want to do?
Why did we do this?
At least we can breathe now.
I don't have Featherfall. I've made bad life choices.
So as we're approaching, Fives is just nonchalantly taking it all in, reaching into the bag of holding and pulling out a mandolin. And as we reach directly above the landing pad, just strums a few notes, and I'm casting Levitate on myself because I can only do it.
Oh, all right. So, Fives, you begin to levitate and slowly descend towards the dock. Everyone else, you shoot right past the dock, one of the dock ends, and as soon as you pass it, you also pass the plane of gravity. So you immediately start being thrown back the other direction, and you actually oscillate back and forth about 5 times before slamming into it for only 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
Yay!
As Fives
All right.
enters the saying right and lands on his feet.
Yes. Off on the other end of the meteorite, you can see the red dragons in their locked combat with this illithid vessel, and you can also now make out arrows and spells being shot out of the ends and the windows of this meteorite, which you're seeing is somewhat hollowed out and cavernous. As you see Githyanki shooting spells out from these windows, combating these illithids. The Mindful vessel puts up a force field around itself as the dragon crashes into it, and the dragon pushes off this bubble of force and lands on the meteor, which wobbles it slightly and begins stomping around on top of it. What would you like to do?
We should go inside.
Yeah, I'm immediately looking around for any way into the meteorite. to
Most
get-
definitely.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
What was your name? Markle?
Marquox.
Mark Wax.
And actually, if you can look at the Twitch output, there's a piece of art, and you can
Oh,
see where you.
hey.
So there's a giant opening in front of us.
Yep.
We in space, y'all.
Yeah.
This is fine. Everything's fine.
Well, I'm not worried about this at all, but maybe we should be in the big floaty rock.
Yes, I quite agree. Shall we move on? I don't want to meet a big red over there.
At least not
Alright.
yet.
So you head inside, and as you do, the squirrel says, "So this is Stardock," and as he gestures, and if this is a movie, that'd be the moment we do the big galactic pan around it and see all the great stuff. But there are two large set doors, a little on the inside, that are made of crystal, and Fives. At this point, you notice that in your pocket is actually that rod that got put in the pedestal. It came with you.
Okay. Just for safekeeping, I'll put it in the bag of holding.
Sure. All right. So you approach the doors. They do not seem to have any latches or opening mechanism in the slightest, actually. So the squirrel says, "So you're gonna need the rod to open this door. It should just poof right open for you if you touch it."
I just
Alright.
put it away. Reaches
Yeah,
into the
Sorry.
wow.
You could have told me earlier, as we were walking, as we were approaching, you could. And just reaches in, pulls out, and very almost puffed up slightly, with his fur slightly puffed up. He just reaches out and taps the rod onto the door.
And the door just opens right up.
I don't think that Fives likes getting told what to do by a squirrel. I just
Uh,
mentioned
I don't
Unfortunately,
think,
to
I don't think
Marklox.
anyone likes that.
unfortunately, it's not particularly avoidable right now. As the squirrel
not
gestures
wrong.
his little paws. It says you open the door up into a large warehouse area, and in this space there are a number of crates stacked up with, and one of them's open. You see very odd, exotic food stuffs poking out, and there are 4 Githyanki going through grabbing food, and as you open up the door and walk in, they look up at you. Very confused.
Hello, hi. How are all of you?
One of them starts to reach for a sword.
Oh, we don't need to do that, guys. That's not necessary.
So one turns to another and says in Gith, which I want to say only Zero speaks.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that a Githzerai?
Yeah, I'm a Gitzerai, but you don't need to be at my throat. I mean, there's a Lithid around here. We've got a common enemy. Can we just not do the whole thing today?
One of them
Bigger
looks
problems.
honestly.
What was
Make
that?
a persuasion. One of them looks a little
Okay.
disappointed, honestly. Make a persuasion check, Mr. Only person who doesn't use charisma.
But is the only one that can speak to them.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm
I
gonna
could,
give myself guidance.
I could do
So
comprehend
you gotta
languages, but
cast
this is
a
so much
spell
better.
that they don't know what it is in front of them.
Oh, probably not. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Oh, I did okay. My bonus is 18. So 18. It's my
Okay.
total.
I
I'm
thought your
sticking
bonus
with
was
it.
18 for a
No.
second.
Sorry, my bonus is not 18. It's nowhere near that.
Hi, Druid.
No, with my bonus, my total
Yeah.
is 18.
The one's reaching for its sword, with his arm down. The creature has a point.
Yes, this creature does.
And
And
they
then I
switch to
just-
common so everyone can converse and says, "So, what are you doing here?"
We followed a squirrel. Atrium points.
Yeah, this guy.
The squirrel like kind of hides behind Zero's neck and points out the other side, almost Disney style.
I just give him scritches.
As
Yeah, this is
ludicrous as
Mark
it sounds,
Clark's.
it is.
And
it is not
when you
wrong.
touch him, he actually kind of flinches. Says, "Don't touch me."
Well, okay then. I'm sorry. I should have asked for consent first. That's my bad.
He's a very visceral reaction
Yep.
to being
Sorry.
touched.
Sorry. I should have known better. It's my bad.
Ooh, I have a little window light coming through right here.
That's
It's bouncing off my floor. All right, so
We're looking for a wizard.
Or,
Looking for-
someone with,
Actually, we were exploring Undermountain, and then we, through a series of very unfortunate squirrel-related events, we ended up here.
That's
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 bullshit.
a good way of phrasing this. Yes, that's what happens.
the Githyanki takes a step forward and says, one moment. Says, "My name is Sir Locke. Are you or are you not here to help us combat the Illithid menace?"
I'm guessing the yes would get us killed, not killed. So yes.
I'm always looking to deal with Illithid.
And I mean, I had an encounter with one once. It fled before I could stab it. I would like the chance to stab another one in its sake.
I guess you'll do.
You know who this belongs to? Someone trapped in here? Ring
Why
any
is there a
bells?
squirrel in space?
Why are all
No.
of us in space?
Oh, we live in space.
They live here.
Yeah.
Well, now I know that.
I know, but really, like, how's there a squirrel in space?
Like I said, squirrel-related incidents.
You never heard of like magical familiars?
Whose?
I don't know. If
Okay.
we knew that, we wouldn't be asking you who this belongs to.
It actually, given the not that I'm great at distances, but given the margin of error, it actually might be a prisoner on the Illithid ship.
Ah, I guess that's possible.
Or here.
Buddy,
Yeah.
where are you? Where's your buddy?
The squirrel pauses for a moment, a little baffled at this question. Says, I'm not entirely sure how we wound up here, so I must be on a vessel nearby."
All right
Can I
then.
do-
So what you said checks out.
Can I do a quick insight check to see if it's lying? To basically not
Yeah.
say it's on this meter.
ahead.
Okay, so I rolled.
Look at those eyes. Those eyes wouldn't lie to you.
I rolled 6.
Those eyes are very creepy.
That's 18.
They're just black.
The squirrel seems truthful, if a little startled at the scenario.
Okay. So at least he's not on this meteor asteroid. Okay.
The Githyanki takes a step forward and says, "So, we're currently attempting to coordinate with our Red Dragon allies to assault the ship, but they put up a force field. Do you have any magics that might be able to help disintegrate something like that away?"
Well,
I
if
can
it-
try to dispel it.
yes, and if that doesn't work, I could try to dispel it. So you have 2 options.
Do not. I hit things with this, and I conjure my weapon.
Well, we'll get you some dragons then, so you can get a mose in on that.
I could try to teleport into it if it doesn't block that sort of thing.
Well, we don't believe it can. Teleportation in mass is difficult. We could probably get just the group of you there.
I could take
That's an
myself and one person, and I'd have to be really close. Within
we could
500 feet, give or take.
We could probably send the rest of you along with you, but we can't send a bunch of us alongside. If that makes sense.
It does.
Well,
Dragons, you said. We're going to ride dragons in space.
Naturally. How else are you going to get out to the ship that's away from the Stardock?
Jord reaches up and pinches themselves. Nope, not dreaming.
I know a lot about dreams. This is not one of them.
All right.
So awesome.
Yes,
Alright,
it would definitely be an interesting story to tell Kaisona should I survive this.
Man, that last
No.
part is the part I'm worried about.
Before we get over there and we get potentially separated and all that, I think we should take a do we have a few minutes for me to help us be able to talk to each other a little easier?
We're speaking in common.
Yeah. I mean, across distance if we're not all, if we get separated or something.
Why don't I take you to meet Alchaya first?
Oh, that's cool. Great.
She's our leader. One moment. I'm Sirlock. Follow me. And he gestures and
Sirlock.
goes off towards the door. Not Sorlock. Not his build, I promise.
What was the leader's name again?
Alchaya. AL''CHAIA.
Thank you.
So he starts to lead you through, and you go through a room that is unbearably hot, covered in lava, with red dragon eggs splayed about. You go past a very humongous dragon horde that just fills up like a 20-foot square of ground, and he just walks by it nonchalantly, and gets brought into an officer's quarters, which has these little slits that shoot out into the void of space. Occasionally you see their nautiloid craft float by. On against the windows is another smaller horde of dragon's gold, and anyone with a passive perception of 17 or higher see little red dragon scales pointing out. You think there's a red dragon curled up inside the dragon's horde. In front of that is a table with two not mind flayers, Githyanki, who are looking at each other in discussion. Not mind flayers, I promise. And there's
Very different things happening there.
yes, and there's a few other Githyanki on the edges of the room along the wall, quietly listening and in attentiveness. Sirlock comes in and says, "Alchaya, may I report?" And she looks over. "We have guests, it seems. Yes, bring them to me." Erlon, and she gestures to the one next to her. "I know you disagree with my methods, but this is how it needs to be. Go back to your post." And when she says that, you can see that there's just a flicker. Anyone with a passive insight of 17 or higher sees a little flicker of disappointment in most of the Githyanki that are along the walls, and Erlon. But he takes it in grace and stride. Just, "Yes, I'll show you." And he walks out. And about half the Githyanki that are splayed about follow him. Sirlock stays, and Alchaya addresses you. "So, who do we have here? More recruits in our war effort?" And then she eyes Zira.
Yep. Yes, I know.
In a manner
Oh.
of speaking.
The whole thing, yeah. Don't worry. One enemy, not you. It's all good.
And she kind of shakes herself a bit and gestures to Fives and says, Tabaxi, what is your name?
Yes, of course. How rude of me not to introduce myself sooner. I am Five Thorns of the Blossom. It is a pleasure to meet you. And he does a very low bow.
Well met. And she
Yes.
gestures to our Azamar friend and says, and you?
I am called Jord.
All right. And the human?
I'm Atrian Highsaber.
All right. You seem like accomplished folk. Anyway, now that we've met each other's names.
Yeah, I'm Zira. I know you didn't ask, but I'm Zira. Zira Talavix. Nice to, meet you, do this thing,
Seems annoyed that you would speak to her.
Yeah, well, deal with it.
Um, so, what do you come here offering me? And once again, the squirrel is kind of hiding behind your neck.
We are kind of here by accident, and so it is a matter of coincidence that we are here to offer you our help because we also do not like mind flayers.
Does anyone like mind flayers?
I assume mind flayers like mind flayers.
Yep, fair enough.
Maybe not. Maybe they hate themselves. Maybe that is why they are so aggressive.
Oh, the self-loathing. I think you might be onto something here.
Are all of you familiar with the enemy we face? Have you fought mind flayers before? Are you familiar with their tricks and their tactics?
I may not have fought one before, but I do know of his tricks. I encountered one a time previous. I never got the chance to stab it. I decided to study it afterwards, so if I encountered it again, I could stab it.
I just assume that they take minds and they flay them. Is that not what they do?
Look, I've been
You're
on the
actually-
front lines. I'm good. I know the drill.
I've never fought ships of them before in space.
Yes, first time to space as well.
I should take you guys to Limbo sometime. It's quite nice.
Hellish place.
Sounds nice.
I mean, it's nice when you make it nice. It's, everything is what you make of it. The Limbo is no different.
I feel like we are getting off topic. And subtext that we
Oh,
do not-
yeah, I do that sometimes. I'm sorry.
We have the enemy has conjured a force field that we as of yet have not been able to dispel. Dispelling magic doesn't seem to function on it as of yet. We have one mind flayer in custody. We has not been able to get him to divulge his secrets yet.
I mean, I could give it a go if you wanted.
Yeah, we think in more neutral party, one that does not have such automatic disdain on sight. Mind flayers and Githyanki are ancient enemies. Might have a better accomplishment. The prisoner's name is Marquox. You should meet him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sherlock, can you take these ones to the prisoners? So, as Sherlock leads you all out of the room, any response as he leads you through Stardock?
George looks back at the squirrel and just gives like depth.
Actually, as you look at the squirrel, you'll notice that the squirrel is no longer there.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Sounds about right.
Crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just twisting my ring. The ring that I don't think any of the group would have seen me ever remove, no matter what.
Sure.
It's probably would be recognized as a sign of agitation by the group.
I think things are about to turn bad very quickly.
All right. As you're walking and being led through, Sherlock, as you're making these comments back and forth, is something amiss?
Oh no, nothing at all. It's just I do not find much pleasure in the art of interrogation, and it's dark, cousin. Maybe I have done it in the past, and my duty requires it, but it's not always soothing to the soul to realize that you are delving back into that realm. Understand?
I would agree with you normally, except when the recipient is an illithid. Vile creatures deserve it.
Yes, that is a fair point, actually. I should take that
Uh,
into consideration.
I'm happy to have helped settle your mind.
And I am most grateful for it. And
Alright, and he,
Vibes is very clearly trying to present himself forwards to draw the attention of Sherlock.
sure. He's going to lead you through a few more quarters, and this is kind of the aft, because I'm using ship stuff for the Stardock because there's no cardinal directions for space. So it's kind of the aft end of the meteorite of Stardock. So the opposite end from the Mind Flayer ship, and he leads you on there, and he comes to a room and puts his hand on the crystal door and says, the creatures through here, we don't have we can ward its most powerful magics from leaving the room, but once you walk in, we will not be able to protect you from it. But I think one Mind Flayer does not pose a significant threat to you. You seem capable enough to manage that.
We should hope so.
Let me check something.
Don't believe I have.
Bless you.
And Sherlock sneezes very loudly, just dusty.
Bless you.
Before we go
I don't
in,
know. It's a thing that I've heard humans say.
I'm going to turn to Sherlock and say, would you permit me to make use of a spell just before we enter?
What spell?
Just a simple protection from things like aberrations.
Sure, go ahead.
I pull out the mandolin again, and again a few sharp notes, and then casting protection from evil and good. I think on myself. Wait, no.
Yeah, just yourself. I believe that's a single target spell.
Yeah, you can't upcast it.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. So
It would be pretty great if you could, though.
I have thought that many times.
Yeah.
So I'll cast
Did you want to do it on you?
Yeah, because I think the mandolin, because it's the bardic instrument, I think
Yeah.
it can self-cast it.
Yeah, cast it once for free per day.
Does it matter or
What's
can
that?
It doesn't matter, I don't think.
Yeah,
Okay.
it can be any target that's normally valid for the spell.
Does anyone want this, or are you fine with me taking this protection?
I
think whoever's the most vulnerable should have it, but yeah, I have no personal preferences.
I'm not the
I-
best at
that.
protecting from mental influences, I will admit.
I think it is fine for you to have it. It is a good idea.
All right.
Go ahead.
So
I'll cast it on
Vibes, you invoke protection from evil and good on yourself,
Mhm.
and the Sherlock inscribes a little circle and swoosh pattern on the door, and it pulses with some energy, and it turns open. And as it opens, he takes 2 big steps back and draws his sword just in case. And sitting inside the room, about 10 feet past the door. It's a pretty big for a cell, honestly. It's about 20 feet square. Cross-legged, floating in the air, is a Mind Flayer with its eyes closed.
Markoth.
Hello, liar.
And as you say that, a squirrel comes running around the corner and looks at what's happening, and then disappears. And the illithid's eyes open up.
Well,
You're
hello.
not what I figured you'd be. Ah, buddy. You look like you're in a bit of a predicament here. How unfortunate.
still cross-legged, floating in the air. One of its tentacles makes its way down its own throat, and back out, and acts as a tongue as it speaks out loud in common, in the way that mind players have to if they want to actually make auditory language, in kind of sucking, gag-inducing level of speaking. Says,
I already don't like this.
yeah. I thought that you might be more amenable than my current captors to my scenario. Please, let's have a conversation.
Did you give my people a conversation when you enslaved them for all that time?
Not my people.
Oh, yeah. Except, so you think that just because you're an outcast or something that you're, because that's what's happening here, right? I hear about you magic users. Don't get looked too kindly at by the rest of your little squid mouth buddies.
You're not incorrect in your supposition of my current predicament.
Never met one of you before, though.
I'm gonna turn to our Githyanki escort,
Sherlock.
Sherlock.
He's got a sword out. He's like 15 feet back from the door, and it's like you get the sense of like if this thing tries to go for the door, he's just gonna go for murder death.
Can I cast a spell to help us discern what's going on?
You all can do what you need to do. I trust you more than I trust it.
I'm going to cast Zone of Truth.
Yeah.
So it needs to make a charisma saving throw.
It's going to opt to fail. Also, everyone else needs to make one as well. If you
That's
don't want
true.
This will be
Everybody around
fun.
me needs to make a charisma saving throw.
Now,
Plus
keep in mind,
5, right?
keep in mind, 4. He's got 4 charisma. Keep in mind that if you succeed, you have to make it again every single round for 10 minutes until the spell ends, or until you leave the area.
So wait, he's got a +4 to his thing. What's your DC, Adrian?
17.
Okay, so I actually do have to roll. Okay.
Okay, I made that then. 13 plus 10.
I fail.
I'm just going to
Here's-
auto fail. Not that I would
Yeah.
lie anyway, but
Here's the thing, though: is if you succeed, then you have to do it again 6 seconds later, and again 6 seconds later, and again 6 seconds later, and again 6 seconds later.
right.
So within the span of like a minute, everyone will be affected by it anyway.
I have a +14. Statistically, it's possible that I could not fail that save, but I'll just
Okay.
fail it. I'll just fail it. I don't care.
I mean, yeah, you could hang on for like a while, actually.
You
in
could. It's also only a 15-foot radius. So, and I wanted to center it on the mind flayer. So if they backed up out of it,
That's fair. So Mark Rock's still floating in the air. But do you doubt my truth?
yes.
Yes. You already lied to us once. You have proven a distrustful narrator.
Speak your truth.
Nothing I said was incorrect. I was captured by these horrible creatures. Squid-faced creatures came and liberated me. Well, killed some of them. They didn't stop short of trying to liberating me.
You know, I like it when I do half-truths. I don't like it when others do half-truths.
Yeah, sometimes we dislike people who we see something that we don't like of ourselves in them. That happens a lot. You're learning. Maybe maybe you can take this opportunity to do some soul searching.
Well, 5 Thorns of the Blossom, maybe you should work on some self-improvement to get past that kind of difficulty.
Lies of omission are still lies. He looks at both fives and the mind flayer.
Oh, calm yourself, my friend. You're too uptight.
I am confused. Are you telling Fives to get better at accepting people that are lying to him, or just more happy with lying in general? Very difficult with that. That was murky.
Self-acceptance is important for every creature under the sun.
Except we are not. Well, I guess we're not.
Or stars.
Yeah, we're in the stars. It's very confusing. There is no north anymore. I do not know what's happening.
Why would we free you? Getting back to the thing at hand.
Well, quite simply, I can offer insights into my former people that might help turn the tides of this conflict.
And
You
what
know
would you
how to
offer?
turn down the shield.
Exactly.
And what is it that you would ask in return?
And at this point, he hums and haws out loud, but mentally he projects to all of you telepathic communication and says, safely convey me outside of this rock back to the planet, away from both the Githyanki and the other Illithids.
Atrian, quick question. Does mental conversation circumvent zone of truth?
I don't think so. I'm gonna go with no, and we're gonna move from there.
Good to know.
No, it cannot tell a lie.
Good to know then.
Yeah. Out loud, he then finishes with, I'm sure you can find some way to repay me. But it's pretty clear that that's not what he's intoning.
What kind of life do you lead on your own? Should you get what you want, what sort of life would you choose to lead for yourself? What does your best life look like?
I was one who pursued arcane knowledge and magics.
You still eat brains?
It's a very personal question.
No, it's not. I'll tell you what I eat.
As an Illithid, I must consume an amount of brain matter over cycles to sustain myself.
Okay. Who you eat?
Well, in the past, I have been hunted by Illithids and the Githyanki and the Githzerai. So generally those who came to assail me.
And in this potential future best life of yours that you would want to live, what are you going to feed yourself?
I have to admit, I haven't quite figured that part out yet.
Because this whole thing of you preying on other things, other sentient creatures, I'm not good with it.
I'm just thinking that figuring out my meal plan's a little bit of putting the cart before the horse, wouldn't you agree?
No.
Besides, what assurance do we have that you would not simply see us do our side of the bargain and then decide that we are an appetizing meal?
Well, I could promise you under the zone of truth that I do not intend to.
Yeah, but you'll get hungry.
Also, intentions can change. You might not have any intention now, but that could change.
Do you have any sort of magical way to ensure my truth?
Those kinds of magics make me uneasy.
Indeed.
They rob creatures of their free will.
Indeed.
Not
I don't have any.
not simply agreeing to follow through on something you already intended to do.
You've tricked us once before, Mind Flayer.
Did I?
We already talked about lies of omission.
Yes,
I
Zira?
do have a little something.
Mm.
But are a lithid, like, would a lithid be subject to the terms of Gaius?
That does work on our kind. Admittedly, it doesn't come up very often.
It's the kind of...
Yeah, I figured.
We could wait outside, friend.
But I still know what's happening.
It is true.
This all might be moot. I turn back to to Sherlock. If he agrees to help us, are you intending to let him go?
So keep in mind, he mentally communicated the desire for you to free him. Specifically, you're pretty sure so Sherlock wouldn't hear that part?
I mean, we'd still have to get him past Sherlock anyway. So it's either we fight through Sherlock and everybody else or not. So
yeah.
I would like to use my Githzerai ability to cast Detect Thoughts.
Sure. Unfortunately, no, because right, yes,
Surface.
you just cast Detect Thoughts, but you notice that it can't leave the room. It's warded against it leaving the room.
Sure, right.
But you can do that. But while that's happening, Atron, you ask Sherlock, intend to leave this creature, let this creature go, and say, we cannot abide even one of these horrid creatures leaving. They could restart an entire colony by themselves.
that's what I thought.
And in your head, Mark Walks says, of course I have no intention of doing so.
Which it can't lie about right
Yes,
now.
currently. So, Zero, you cast Detect Thoughts.
Yeah.
Whose thoughts are you trying to read?
Oh, Markloth's.
I kind of guessed. I just got to
Yeah.
confirm.
I was so glad you didn't say fives then.
Oh, you're next, buddy. I'm just kidding.
I love using Detect Thoughts on other players. That's the best part of the spell.
I mean, it's going to persist a little while, so.
Lasts a minute.
Mhm.
So as you do that on Mark Walks, he his kind of eyelids raise a little bit as you look at him, and he just thinks, you know some of our magic. Impressive.
I'd like to probe deeper.
What are you looking for?
I am looking for any of the information we can get out of him without actually making a deal.
Sure. Unfortunately, that's a 26 on a wisdom save.
Damn.
Uh,
Damn.
As you probe deeper, he raises his eyebrows again, says, that's very rude, and he's going to use a psychic feedback ability. I need you to make a wisdom save.
Okay.
Ruh-roh.
I get a
Fine.
+4 from being next to Atrian, right?
True.
Yes.
You're a druid, so you're probably fine.
I'm probably all right. Yeah. So, how's a 28?
Whoa.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Wisdom save off. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, so that being said, you still take some half damage because
And then halved again if it's psychic.
yes, it is. So yes.
Okay, good.
So you take 3 psychic damage.
I feel like all of us watching from the outside, we see this like it's in like movie style, it's like anime style, like they're like this mental battle is like going on, and we're just like,
Yeah.
So
then,
while
like, and then Zero's nose starts bleeding a little bit.
just a touch. So while the spell is still active, yes?
Doesn't it end when you probe deeper? I'm not entirely familiar.
I think it does. I think
Yeah,
if they
so
succeed, it cancels the spell.
But I'll read. If it
An
succeeds, the
intelligence
spell,
check contested by my intelligence check. Yep. Unless I shift my attention to another creature's thoughts, the creature can use its action to make an intelligence check contested by my intelligence check. If it succeeds, the spell ends.
So I'm looking at that text and seeing that after the probing deeper save.
Right. That's what I'm looking at also.
Yeah. So
If it succeeds, the spell ends.
yeah. So it
Oh,
can end off the.
shoot, I
it can-
totally
it
missed
can-
those 6 words. My bad.
Yeah. So it can end if they make their save or if they contested check.
That's fine. All right.
'Kay.
Well,
I'm going to think at Marquox as opposed to verbalizing.
Sure.
And just Atri doesn't know how telepathy works, so he just assumes this is how. So you mean for us to fight with you our way out of this giant rock full of Githyanki? They're not going to let you go, as you just heard.
Oh, please. I believe you can employ a little more subterfuge and sleight of hand than that.
I look down at my plate armor and then back up.
Sherlock, Fives is going to approach. Might I propose an idea? Our little squid friend here has admitted that he could give information against his kin. Since they made him an outcast, he could tell us how to remove the force bubble that prevents access to their ship. But I do not like the idea of him surviving past this day nonetheless. And Fives has made sure, as he's talking, to kind of walk with Sherlock a bit of a distance. Just keeping his voice low as he can.
Are you attempting to deceive Sherlock and by making him not realize he's walking away, or are you being just trying to be conspiratorial and making sure Mark Rocks can't hear?
Making sure Mark Rocks can't hear.
Okay.
And he's dropping his voice bit by bit. I have an idea. How about we bring him with us and ensure that he can indeed remove the bubble by ensuring that he is on the front lines. If he fails, well, he ends up with a dagger in the back. If he succeeds, well, he ends up with a dagger in the back.
Sherlock seems to weigh it back and forth for a minute.
Can I do a persuasion check or something?
No, I don't think you actually need to roll it for this one.
Okay.
I think you've got a convincing argument. I don't always make players roll if I think they just have a good point.
Nice.
He's going back and forth a little bit. As far as we've been able to tell, the four of you can probably handle one mind flayer, even if he does turn on you.
Most
They're not that alone. They're not that terrifying. Alchaya would never allow it. Her hatred runs too deep.
If I may probe, I did see the other one, Elon, was it?
Yes.
There was a certain spark of disappointment in his eyes when Alchaya mentioned her way. Might I ask if he would be sympathetic to this idea?
Sherlock takes like a good another 5 feet farther away from the door and whispers really close. Alchaya is, oh god, she's a horror. She's horrible. She runs us so hard. She tons of problems. She can't innovate. Everything's by the book, and people are dying. And Erlon is who we keep throwing our support behind, but Alchaya has these magic books that she holds over to try to hold sway over the other people. They're imbue you with special powers. So she tries to keep everyone under her sway by promising that the best one that follows her gets the magic books. But I personally think she's full of shit. But we need to get rid of. We need Erlon in charge to win this fight. And I told you. But if
I'm sympathetic.
am I making any sense?
Yes, you make sense indeed. It is never good to fight a war with a leader who cannot be malleable. I do understand, and don't worry. What you have said shall stay with you and with me alone. Of that I swear.
Okay. So we need to either hide the fact that you're bringing Marquox, that was his name, right? Yeah. Forward to help to deal with the shield, or we need to usurp Alchaya so that Erlon's in charge. Otherwise, we have to hide it from Alchaya and her people.
I'm going to slightly draw my rapier.
Yeah.
I am not exactly unaccustomed to being the hidden blade, to be striking from the shadows. But I would prefer not to, as you understand. I hope cause unrest within a society that is not my own. And I'm gonna sheathe it. I could ensure that this squid is unseen from eyes and sight and can be safely removed without detection, if that would work.
And Sherlock's mind is definitely like racing a little bit right now. He goes, actually, I think I think our society as a whole might be better off if Alchaya just disappeared.
Mhm.
But we can't, like I said, we can't have unrest, so no one can see it happen.
Well,
Because we
as I say,
openly support murderers of one of our own.
I am used to being the shadow of the strikes. I could certainly remove your problem, but you understand I cannot do this without the rest of my allies. And there is
Sure.
also the issue of ensuring that there is no blowback on me.
None from me, none from Erlon. Everything we can get. Hell, you can keep her books if you find them. Those damn things have done too much harm.
Well, you do present an interesting deal. As I said, let me speak with my allies and I shall see what I can do.
Sure. So, did anybody want to do anything with Marquox or each other while that conversation was going on? While Sherlock was distracted and such?
And then we devoted the next temple to Torm after defeating the kobolds of West March, and
That's a lot of temples.
yes.
Marquox is actively bored.
Any information you'd like? Any information that you would like to give us instead of listening to all of this?
I need assurance that I can be safely conveyed out of here. Preferably within a zone of truth.
Seeming as it was your spell that brought us here, I am not sure what you think we could do for you.
It was much easier to bring you here to my position than leave. There are wards upon Stardock that make it difficult. Unless you leave its air envelope, and then, well, space makes it difficult to do things past that. But the Githyanki have a portal that can be activated by one of their rods. And they keep it in the center of the meteorite, where the dragons live in their brood.
Oh, just dragons. No big deal.
There's just 7 dragons.
I'm sorry. It sounded like you said 7.
Yes, there's a mother and 6 of her brood.
Of course.
I'm not worried. This is fine.
Once again, I think we can probably employ some subterfuge. And at that, Fives comes back.
Well,
5, what a dramatically appropriate time for you to return.
indeed, it is most appropriate. I might have an idea as to how to remove Markrox from this ship without us being cut down, eviscerated, our hearts torn out, etc., etc., etc. Anyway,
So far, I like your plan.
let's just say that so long as we perform a service for the Githyanki that are unhappy with Alcharia's leadership, then, well, a blind
you
eye
say
will
that,
be turned.
As you say that, Marquox's eyebrows raise a little bit.
Can I do insight just to see is that he's interested in it or he's opposed?
You just let slip of
Yeah.
dissident in the Githyanki ranks in front of
Yeah.
the mind. He's just interested in what you have to say at the moment.
I thought as much. Yeah, to be honest, Fives doesn't really mind much doing so.
Yeah.
He's not that much invested in it.
That's fair.
Look, I can place him under some magical means to keep his actions within certain boundaries. Should he break them, he would be subject to quite a lot of damage.
Well, that is indeed.
Give him a nice big headache.
It is a good insurance to have, but it does not do much, I must admit, to help us circumvent the wrath of the Githyanki for removing their prisoner.
We're going to have to. So it sounds as though we may have to deal with that issue first.
It seems.
Mark Quack says, if you need to deliberate amongst yourselves, of course that is fine. I have
Thank you
nothing
for your
but time.
permission.
I have nothing but time in here. Although I don't think the Githyanki have as much.
Have we noticed that there's been like combat still going on, or does it seem like everything's kind of chill with the
Right
bubble?
now, it's kind of like a calm amid the storm. Everything's tense and people are coming around and you hear shouts and such occasionally. But right now, there's a calm moment.
Yes, well, most creatures do not have much time.
You're not wrong.
At this point, he levitates down to the floor and flips his hands and casts levitate again and levitates back up. It only lasts 10 minutes.
That seems so terrible for you. Keep using up your spell slots. I like that.
So, any thoughts on this offer that has been presented to us?
7 dragons.
Okay, yes, that is a good argument.
Perhaps
Just throwing that out there.
Well, perhaps if we do this favor, they will do a favor for us, other than the other favor that we're already going to get them to do.
You mean that we won't have to fight our way through 7 dragons?
Correct.
I like that plan.
Well, I mean, we would be attacking the leader, so the dragons would probably attack us because we're attacking the leader of the Githyanki. I don't know.
Well, I think the dragons are in a different part of this floating rock in space.
We
Well,
walked by their horde on the way here.
there was one in the room with her. I don't know if you saw it within its hoard, but there was one.
Oh, I missed that.
I don't think it was the larger one, or the one that's outside. Maybe a young one. I don't know.
Well,
We could take a young one if we had to.
to dinner? We could take it to dinner. That would be a good thing for
Yes,
them.
we would be at dinner, of course.
Well, I don't think anyone else has a better idea.
No.
We could turn the, and I'm barely dropping my voice this to make sure Sherlock doesn't hear. We could turn the squid in there invisible, usher him out, stab Sherlock in the back, ensure he's removed from play, circumvent this whole thing entirely.
Except that while you were gone, the just thumb at Marquette made it clear that we needed to get him to the portal, which again, 7 dragons.
Oh wait, so I wasn't here for this.
Yes,
The 7 dragons are at the portal?
Those 7 dragons are apparently guarding the rod that will let us use the portal. Or maybe they are at the portal. I am confused. This is a rock in space.
Well, one of them is outside, I think.
Let me. Marquox pipes up at this point in your head. He doesn't move, but you can hear him. Let me clarify a little bit. The rod, the Stardock rod is the type that you use to get here. You already have one of those.
Oh.
The dragons are 7 in total, and the portal is at their innermost sanctum.
Ah.
But, well, maybe not innermost. It's not in their treasure hoard. They are red dragons after all, but it's nearby. However, many of the red dragons are old enough that they have moved out. They live in Alchaya's quarters or their own quarters, and even the mother tends to stride around and stalk the outside of the meteorite, as I'm sure you saw on your way in. I know I did. So, unless you raise the alarm, you might only have to fight 2 dragons.
Oh, 2 dragons. It's just, yeah, walk in the park.
Only 2. Well, I do
Have
have
one.
this. It's made for fighting dragons.
That's awfully convenient.
Yes, it is. A gift. I don't know if it's made to fight 7, though.
I could, if we are going to go this way, remove our little current companion from play, make sure no one knows of our current goal, or we go for the leader and help a uprising.
So we either sneak the Mind Flayer out or we incite a rebellion? Is that what you're suggesting?
Essentially, yes. That is in its most simplest form.
So during this time, Zira has started pulling out her ritual book, and so long as Zorlok isn't stopping her, she is starting
Sure.
to cast a ritual.
Sure.
Starting to cast telepathic bond
Sure.
for the 4 of us.
I figured. So Marquox puts out a little hand forward. Do we have an accord? I help you remove the force field, and I'll even imbue you with an ability to remove it again should they bring it back up. In payment, you get me off this rock. By the way, Zone of Truth has ended by now.
Yeah.
How quickly do we have to uphold our deal? As you understand, of course, it is difficult to ensure your passage off this rock.
Oh, if you need time for setup, that is fine. I have nothing but time.
So we would have time to deal with this Githyanki political situation.
If you so desire to. And at that point, your ritual casts Zira. And
Okay. Great.
now communicate telepathically between the 4 of you at will, across distance.
Sorry, I know I didn't really warn any of you. My voice is in your head now. I know it takes a second to adjust to. There wasn't really a chance for me to ask if that was all right. I'll be respectful, but I just thought this would be an easier way for us to discuss some things.
Right. And
No one else can hear us.
And as the 4 of you deliberate between yourselves, decide if you're going to make this deal or not, we're going to go to break.
Yeah.
Just a little, let's try to aim to be back at 40, so a little 7-minute break.
Okie doke.
Okay.
dancing to the music that we don't hear.
Mhm.
To the music. Yeah.
Hey, we're back.
Hey.
Hey.
All right. So where we left off, our intrepid band of heroes,
We had a
just
feast for heroes, so
you had a
I'm
heroes-
definitely a hero.
Yeah, you're the most hero-esque. Had just set up a telepathic connection with each other so they could discuss their potential dealings with this mind flayer and or Githyanki murder backstabby plan stuff in private.
that's right.
That's the best. Always the best.
So let's find out where we landed on that.
Look, I'll be honest. I was kind of busy doing this, and details of plots and intrigue are really not my strong suit. So, whatever you guys think, whatever. I think I'm not alone in the idea that this guy should not be let loose to just prey on innocents. So, whatever you guys think is best, let's just be on the same page and do it.
The way I'm looking at it is we either smuggle Squiddy here out now, and we risk the wrath of the Githyanki as well as the Mind Flayers, or we approach Erlon, we see if there is indeed a deal that can be made, and we only have one enemy to deal with instead of two.
Well,
I
we
ask-
have. Oh,
Can I
sorry.
ask a clarifying question? Are you having this conversation just like where you were before, just at the open cell door
I know it would
where Marcrox was?
We would
Oh,
have.
did-
I think we would have left because the prison gives us mental protection from the illithid, right?
Yeah, that's what Sherlock told you.
Yeah, I think we would have stepped outside.
Okay, cool. That
But
may or may not have been why I was
keeping an
asking.
eye on Marquardt, like making sure he doesn't try to just like also walk out the door.
Yeah, the door's open, but you're outside it. You look at him. He's doing his float eye close thing.
Where's the squirrel?
I was gonna say there's squirrels around.
The squirrel has not. You do not see a squirrel currently.
Okay.
I think it's likely we were going to have two enemies anyway, as I understand it. If we have to take on this other leader, the Githyanki, whatever her faction is likely to go peacefully, I would guess. Githyanki warlike. We'd still have two enemies. It just wouldn't be all of the Githyanki and maybe their 7 dragons.
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly one to boast about this, but let's just say I have a way in which to possess the shadows of those that die before me and temporarily assume their form. So this would be, of course, Alchaya handing over command. Not so much her being found dead.
That's not horrifying at all.
Yes, both creepy and useful. I like it.
We'd still need to deal with Alchaya, yes?
Yes, and that is why I would say we approach Erlon, as he is the leader of the opposition, so to say, and we ensure that we can enforce a deal with him.
Yes, I believe this is a good plan. I like to fight. I like battle, but I do not like being surrounded by enemies. And if we can ensure one side will at least wait to stab us in the back, that would be preferable.
And we might even see it coming, and then they'll stab us in the front, and my front is more armored, so that would be
That is
better
fair.
for me.
That's a wise way to look at it there, Adrian.
So,
Yes.
are we in agreement? We embroil ourselves in the machinations and the plots of politics.
Yes, I suppose it is inevitable. However, I have perhaps a pressing question.
What's that?
Regardless of what we do with this Gith politics, what are we going to do with this creature?
I mean, he can't live, right?
Oh no, I agree. What we do is we take him with us, we ensure that we can indeed get past the force field, and then we stab him in the back.
Okay, just as long as we are all on the same page.
If I give my word to protect him,
In that case, give your word to protect him against the Gith and the Mind Flayers. Find the loopholes in your words.
That's not really how oaths work.
They should. That's how it should work. That's how it works for me.
You're not a
Perhaps-
paladin.
Perhaps we could offer you a compromise in that you do not give your word that you will see him safely to the planet. If you see him safely everywhere else and he dies before he gets to the planet, you have fulfilled your oath. He is a creature of aberration and madness. He is not worthy of your oath.
Also, I mean, you could just say, unless you do something horrid, we'll make sure that I'll try to do what's in your power to see him safely there. And then inevitably his nature will probably take over and we'll have reason to kill him.
And what if it doesn't?
In that case,
Well, if
you
it doesn't and he doesn't actually start eating brains, I mean, then he'll either die or...
Or you could swear that you would only attack him if he attacked us first, in which case, although you'd only attack him if he attacks us, miss out the first, in which case we can provoke the attack.
As someone who has had many times in temples and has dealt with people like our friend Adrian, you are mincing words and it will not work. I believe you can either not give him your oath, sir, or you can become conflicted and fight us when we try to kill him. I believe those are your options.
Wonderful.
This is a creature of evil. I do not believe you should lose sleep over it dying.
Look, if this abomination chooses to try to live a life where he's not preying upon people, that's one thing. It's not in their nature, though.
From what I understand, it is nearly impossible.
Right. So,
Their biology does not allow them to not kill and eat brains, which I hope you would understand. We all need to live.
Yes.
so you can tell this creature that you will do your best to see it to its destination unharmed, so long as it's not doing anything like killing people to eat their brains.
Mm.
You're sucking, popping, like a little pop, as you Mark Rox's tentacles are just rolling a little bit and rhythmically popping. I think
And
he's
it-
showing a little bit of
This thing
impatience.
is vile.
It is definitely creepy.
Have you
All right.
all out of whack? Have you sensed that aura? I mean, it is. You don't want anything to do with that. He really needs to do some soul searching. I mean,
Perhaps we can agree to this. We do not have to agree that it has to die now, but perhaps when the time comes, we will be left without a choice.
That makes sense.
it's in their nature. He'll make his choice for us. He'll make our choice for us.
Or who knows, maybe we'll all die in a large explosion and this will be a moot.
So
There
we-
are still 7 dragons.
There are
I'm
still
gonna
seven.
place a Gaius on him so that he can't do anything without putting himself in harm. So
So in agreement then, we shall embroil ourselves in politics, and we shall deal with Squiddy when the time comes.
yeah, I'm gonna leave the politics to you.
Also,
Yep.
yes.
I mean, point me in the direction, but I'm gonna leave the thinking to you. It's not my strong suit.
That is fair. I mean, I have delved into the darkness and the abyss of politics before, so you're wise in that.
It's a good word for it. I guess Jord will go into the room and be like, you have a deal.
I'm going to hang on before deal.
All right. Yeah, she has a thing for you. So after that deal.
So as you two, let's say Zira and Jord walk in, you hear in your heads. So, have we come to a conclusion?
We have to play politics first. Then we will get you hopefully safely off this rock, provided we don't all die horribly. and then you will tell us how to get the shield down and grant us whatever boon you have said, and then we will try to get you to the portal. But again, there are dragons, death, destruction, you know.
I'm gonna check with Zerlock just to make sure it's all right that I cast this spell.
Right, so you're trying to,
Carte
so-
blanche.
I'm intending to cast Gaius on the on this mind flayer. What is my life?
tentacle goes down his throat as he calls out, because you're outside the cell to ask Sherlock, so he can't telepathically to you.
Right.
And out of his mouth, says, "You can cast that on me when we come back and have an accord. For now, I'm going to wait here."
Well, you have to wait here anyways because we have to go do politics.
Exactly. But I don't want to get random Gaius on me if you go off and die.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
I mean,
But you're not really in the position of power here, are you?
he could try to
The
resist.
Gaius now, or you're here. I mean, you're lucky you're not already dead.
Make me an intimidation check. That look, it doesn't exactly breed confidence.
Well, I rolled a 19 on the die, so
Dang.
Ooh.
Roll high, win games.
21. What just happened?
These suckers pop. Once again out of his throat because you're still outside the cell and it's kind of sucking horrible noise. What would you intend for the Gaius?
You do what I tell you.
Fine. So does Gaius take a minute or an hour to cast? I can't remember.
A minute to cast. And it lasts for 30 days.
Yep.
And I'm also going to be telling him, now, you're not going to be harming anyone to get to their brains. You're not going to be eating anyone's brains while they're alive. You're not going to kill anyone in order to eat their brains. I'm not going to stop you if you find a corpse and you need to eat. So long as you didn't have a hand in putting that corpse in corpse form.
As the spell requires, I will listen to your commands.
You're also not going to run off or do any of your magic fuckery without express consent. And, the rest kind of goes without saying, but
Oh, I don't think
really
it does.
behave. Behave. We'll be fine.
I'll listen to everything you say.
Nothing to undermine us in any way. Yeah. All
I'll listen
right.
to everything you say.
And so will your familiar.
It's just an expression of me, but sure.
Yes. Yeah. Well, making sure there's no loopholes. Anyway.
The squirrel appears on your shoulder.
See, now that I know that it is your squirrel, it is like way more creepy.
While the spell is being cast, could I approach Sherlock?
What was that?
While the spell's being cast, the Gaius is being cast, can I approach Sherlock?
Sure.
I just want to say to him, I think that we may have a deal in resolving your problem with Alchaya. That said, I would want reassurance from Erlon himself and a discussion with him as to the particulars.
You should definitely talk with him then. I can bring you to him.
That would be greatly appreciated. I'm just going to stand back and wait for the spell to be done and all business to be resolved.
Sure. So, so to be clear, I'm looking at this Gia spell. Your instruction Your
Yeah.
service to carry out is for it to listen to your commands for the duration of the spell, correct?
Yeah, for 30
Cool.
days.
Cool. Just to clarify. He gets a wisdom save, but I'm going to say he voluntarily fails. Even though that's technically not a mechanical spell, I don't believe. That's okay though.
Okay,
It's a
perfect.
mechanic now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's a friggin' 5th level spell slot, so.
Yeah. And he is charmed by you.
Yes.
The tables have turned.
Well, one second.
Uh-oh.
That's always bad to hear.
That's why I was asking earlier if they're immune to charm or not. Like if that's
Yeah,
if they're immune to
understand
Gideus.
that. I'm checking different types of a different type of mind flare. Because he's a bit of a type hybrid. Okay, so he is not. The one that I was looking at was an undead mind flare. They are because they're undead.
Yeah. Okay.
But he has some elements of them. Don't worry about it. He's charmable. So
Okay.
Don't worry, he's not an Alhoon.
Yeah, so that's what I was just thinking. Like, wait.
Wait.
We have made a mistake.
We need to go right now.
Made a huge mistake.
I mean, the Alhoon is only higher CR than the dragons. Don't worry about it.
A lot.
Oh, good.
So we tell Sherlock to close the door since we're going to be leaving.
Sure.
Okay, bye.
Mind flare.
Okay, bye.
He does leave his squirrel on your shoulder, so you may contact him if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have the bond, right? Because it lasts like 8
Yeah,
hours.
you have telepathic bond. Also, if you're worried about it being around, it's a 1 HP familiar. You can just go stab.
I was just thinking, Fives is so very tempted to do just that. But you'll hold
Have you ever eaten squirrel?
I mean, it's
I have.
familiar. I think it just goes poof into like pixie dust.
Yeah, well.
Yes.
That is true. But to answer your question, I have eaten squirrel before. It is quite nice.
So
Admittedly,
we have
my
this,
friend didn't like it, but I liked it.
so we have this other Githyanki to meet.
Yes, Sherlock brings you through a few quarters to was that spot? Yeah. He brings you over into a quite nearby actually set of rooms that are set up for the Githyanki wizards, war wizards. And Erlon is there along with a few other Githyanki, and when Sherlock comes in with the other people, with you all, not the other people, him and Sherlock exchange a look, and you get the sense of a telepathic communication really quickly. And he nods and gestures, and Erlon says to the other people, "Can you give us the room?" And they leave. And Sherlock walks over and puts his hand on the side of Erlon's face, and they touch foreheads for a moment. And then Sherlock leaves.
Okay.
Erlon stands there and says, "So I understand you have a proposition?"
Yes.
Yes, we do have a proposition for you. Can I do a quick insight check?
Sure.
To see what his
I was-
general disposition is at the moment.
I was
Sure,
about to ask the same. Just this entire time, I'd like to try to watch for any sort of ticks or any insights that I can glean into how he reacts during this conversation that's coming up.
Sure, make me a couple insight checks.
Insight, that's 19 on the dice for 31.
High numbers. 31.
This is what
Okay.
Fives is built for.
This is being a high level bard.
And then I have 25.
Yeah, you both get a strong sense that Erlon is definitely interested in what Sherlock presumably told him
Mhm.
you're seeking, but he is trying to keep an air of plausible deniability in the things he says.
Of
Okay.
course, of course.
So, as I understand it, there were certain issues with the current war against the Mind Flayers, a certain rigidity in the thinking of the higher ups. We would like to propose a deal. We wish to utilize the Mind Flayer prisoner. He's currently under gears, but we wish to ensure that when he offers the information he has offered to give us, how to remove the force field, that he shall be in the front lines and ready to die should he lie to us. Of course, we understand how unconventional such an action would be, the release of that prisoner. So, I would like to offer my services in resolving the problem that I've heard about with your current commanders.
Erlon runs a finger down his cheek. I think the idea of using our enemy against themselves, it's an amenable one that takes cunning and smarts. Could very well work and deal a devastating blow. Of course, others might not see the brilliance of that action, only see the danger, potential downsides. It does carry a risk. That is one that I am willing to make, but others might have strong issue.
And as I said, I am not exactly unaccustomed to the darker side of politics, if you grasp my meaning, with necessity overtaking morality. As you said,
You mentioned another risk, another one that a lesser Gith might have a faint heart. Too faint a heart to take. But old leadership must bow to the new. We need innovation to fight this wily threat. And he turns to Zira, and sometimes we need to forgive old enemies to see and keep our eyes on what is more important.
That's not an unwise position to have.
Was there any hope from you for a type of compensation from your action? You know, this small matter of resolving a hypothetical conflict.
well, if said hypothetical conflict is resolved, we would like it if, well, we do not end up with an enemy at our backs as we head to confront the Mind Flayers.
Or after we've done that, also.
Yes.
If you can do
Not
this,
just an alliance of convenience.
if you could resolve this issue, I would be truly ingratiated to your duties. And I believe I would offer and owe you at least that much, probably more.
Now, when you say more, I heard there was some mention of, actually, do I know that there's mention of Alchaya having magical texts?
Yeah.
Sure.
I would have relayed it in the.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I'm interested in these magical texts. I don't know.
Hmm.
You've probably noticed I like to dabble in some things. You know, try some new stuff out.
There is yes, Alchaya's hoard books. I want nothing more for them to be gone. There is, I believe, a manual of gainful exercise and a one that inspires your leadership qualities.
Yes, we'd like those.
If you could liberate us from these older, more antiquated ways of thought and bring us forward into a shining new opportunity when we can be more versatile, and I would be more than happy to let them quietly slip away into your hands and misplace them.
And future interactions with my kind, you are thinking would be handled how under your leadership?
I have never personally had understood my people's qualms with your people. That being said, I am be but one leader in this Githyanki fight, so I do not control all of our interactions. I'm not
You seem-
Vlaakith.
Seem to be telling the truth.
Yeah, totally.
All right. Well, sounds good to me. What do you guys?
Also, maybe if you could, but a way to get not in space.
Of course, I imagine you don't want to stay here. You could use our portal to return back to Toril. And he gestures out the window at the planet.
Excellent.
Yes, beautifully armor-clad man.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, question about the dragons. Are they?
Yes,
Do they follow your leadership or Alchea's?
they follow the leadership of the Githyanki. They're bound. Some of them are bound to our knights, although Ashtaranthor, the mother, and a very calming name, isn't it? Ashtaranthor.
Sounds like a
It's a
dragon.
bit of her own wild spirit, but generally, as long as you have people to escort you and don't attack her children, she shouldn't bother you.
And
That doesn't really
Just
answer the question.
Just don't go like climbing on the outside of the meteorite alone.
So if we confront Alchea, we will not have to fight dragons, is what you're...
One of her children is bound to Alchea, so she would have one of hers. One of the young red dragons fighting with her.
and
It's
in the sorry, go ahead.
1
I
second.
see. Well, one is not so bad, right?
Sure.
Look to everyone else. Right, we can take one dragon, surely.
Yeah. She's bound to Zolcharks.
And in the hypothetical of Alchaya being attacked, what response is there in terms of guards?
Well, if you attack at the right time with a little bit of convenient guard placement, there shouldn't be much.
And I assume that in this hypothetical, you would be the one who could arrange said guard placement.
A person in a similar leadership position to mine could indeed do that if they were so inclined.
Interesting. And again, in this hypothetical, if Alchaya should be killed, and someone in a leadership similar to yours was to assume her role, what response would there be from lesser Gith, those who are more rigid in their thinking?
Oh, as I've said before, as I believe Surlock has told you before, the general morale towards Alchaya is not very high.
Would it help?
There are many who would not weep any tears over her passing.
And would it be beneficial, shall we say, if the position of leadership was passed on to someone in a position similar to yours by Alchaya herself, or one who had assumed her form?
That might smooth the transition along. I am in line for assuming that role if something unfortunate would happen to her.
But
That being said,
a direct handoff would be smoother.
Yeah, that being said, a direct appointment from her would be quite out of character. So maybe best to just let her disappear and let her absence speak volumes.
Understood. Of course, we are talking in hypotheticals.
Entirely.
While they're talking, Adrian's going to lean over to Jord and whisper, I keep saying hypothetical, but we're doing this, right? Like this, we're actually doing this.
He Jordan puts his hand on Adrian's and then like telepathically says, "Yes, my friend, we are. This is what is called political speak, and it is a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Yes, this is what we are doing."
Okay.
Well, then I think we can come to an agreement. that if said hypothetical disaster should befall Alchaya, then there would be benefits towards those that ensure the survival of the Githyanki.
Excellent. Seeing as this may be a potential path to lead down on our theoretical expedition through this scenario, you should know
Yes.
that those horrible books I spoke of are hidden underneath a secret trapdoor underneath her sleeping slab.
And where is
Good.
her sleeping slab in relation to the room that we met her in?
Oh, that's actually in relation to this room, and he points out the door, not the one you came in, and says, down that hall, one left, first door. Literally,
And,
you could walk there in 20 seconds.
and in this hypothetical disaster, where would be the worst place for Alchaya to be attacked? The worst time? Where there would be a lack of response, as saddening as it would be?
Oh, there would probably immediately after a sudden distraction happened towards the front of the meteorite, guards would be pulled off for emergency usage. Something
And-
like that could happen anytime, say in 20 minutes.
Yes, it would be a great disaster if that did happen. Where would she be located in this hypothetical 20 minutes?
Just down the hall on the left, in her private quarters.
Well, this discussion of theoretical politics has been most enlightening.
Indeed.
I thank you for the honor of this discussion.
Yes. Now, if you could stay here for a period of time, I'll have Surlock come in and keep an eye on you while I need to go attend to an urgent matter for approximately the next 40 minutes. Down on the other end of the meteorite, please.
I thought he was going to say if you would hypothetically stay here for 15 minutes.
All right, and he's going to cast a little spell, which you recognize as message, and Surlock walks in and says, could you please keep an eye on these? And of course, unless an emergency could happen, then you are needed at the front.
In the telepathic bond, which Fives has been quiet in, everyone just says, "Oh, thank God that's over. I so hate talking to fucking politicians. They never make." Although on the outside, he's still as smarmy as he was. Just he's ranting in his head.
Better
very
you
well
than
done.
me.
You're really good at that.
Yes, I'm not exactly proud of it, I must admit, but it comes in handy.
Erlon Exont, so that you are left alone with Surlock.
Mm-hmm. So
Cue the
Okay.
music.
in the bond,
Yeah.
I'm Fives is saying. So, does anyone wish to prepare anything?
I'm just gonna use one of my one of my dice from my energy pool for Balm of the Summer Court and heal myself up a little bit.
You got thought at.
I got thought at, and I also fell hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just
So
Roll
missing
point
20 hit
damage.
points.
Yeah, I'm going to false life myself back to 8 temporary hit points.
Do
Sure.
we still have access to the Hero's Feast? Is that still
Oh yeah, that's 24
It's-
hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've had that for a
Fives?
while.
Fives is going to put out a timepiece on his person and wait until 10 minutes has passed, or no, say 15. Actually, hold on. Let me reread the text. No, I need to spend 10 minutes. Okay. He'll wait. Yeah, he'll wait 5 minutes and then start, I think, mentally just talking and giving advice and calming people down, drawing on his experience as a leader of a small squadron of harpers in the past. And I'll make use of the inspiring leader feat to give every
Ooh.
creature, so the three of them, 19 temporary hit points.
And you can give it to yourself too.
Nice.
Yowzers.
Good feet.
It's basically him. Flavor-wise, I imagine it's more as him just ranting against politicians and what he had to do, and is talking about how he's so excited to be back to basics of just attacking.
This all in your head, in telepathic.
Oh yeah, just
It's
don't
hilarious.
want Sherlock learning of that.
Amazing.
I'm now imagining you like gesturing with your hands, but just no words coming out.
Oh yeah, he's exaggerating it as well, just for the purpose of showing Sherlock there's something mentally going on. You're not privy to it.
I mean, like, in the realm of Githyanki and Mind Flayers, that's not super uncommon.
Yeah, that's fair. He still does it anyway, just for the showmanship of it.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Why not?
Just let me check my spells, actually, one moment. Can I cast that on someone else?
Oh, I forgot. I have winged boots. I totally could have just flown myself down to the dock earlier.
Oh, oops. Well,
Yeah,
it was
me
only
too.
1 point of damage.
I
It's
know,
okay.
but still.
I did too. I forgot.
I
Does
was a
anyone-
little surprised there wasn't a whole lot more of people being like, I do this to not get blumped.
I didn't want to use a spell slot to like bamf myself down there.
Yeah.
Because
I honestly,
I guess I could have tried Gust, but I don't know what that would have really helped
yeah,
against gravity.
need the smites.
That's fair.
So, again, this is mentally as we're drawing closer to that 20 minutes. Does anyone wish to be invisible? And this is a type of invisibility that lasts even as you attack.
I think if you're the stealthy type, that might be the most beneficial for someone like you.
Is everyone in agreement? I am happy enough to dole it out to someone else.
I guess it will depend on what other kinds of spells you must keep in your mind as we are battling.
Well, I can turn some people into a different shape. I can make someone a bit confused. That's their reality. I can hold them in place. I can charm them with a pattern. I can fly.
Could you pretend? Could you silence the sound in the room?
Yes, but in the
would-
hypothetical we're just discussing, said silence would not be required because there would be a massive disturbance at the other end of the ship, unless you wish.
This is true.
So if no one else wants invisibility, I will cast it on myself. So that's greater invisibility. Which
That
lasts.
only lasts a minute.
That's a fair point. I didn't read it properly. I'll wait until we're approaching.
Sure.
I can send Lunara in here, like here in under the door, and see through her eyes and see if there's anything we need to know before we just barge in. Spiders have a different way of looking at the world.
Well, as long as there are not 7 dragons in there, I'm not worried. Not that I would be worried if there were 7 dragons, mind.
I would be
All
worried.
right.
Best to check that.
Otherwise, let's just go do the thing.
And
Amazing.
as Zira says that, there is a meteor shattering explosion out towards the bow of the Stardock. It's the whole place rolls in place, and as soon as that happens, Sherlock casts Dimension Door and just vroom, is gone.
Hey, I can do that.
Oh,
Pretty cool.
hey.
How convenient. A distraction. And I'm going to stealthily start going.
I
Making
will,
sure.
I will draw my sword.
I will.
My
Go
shield.
time.
All right.
And just outside of the door, great invisibility.
Okay, so it literally is out the door left, and it's the end of that hall. It's like 60 feet away.
Okay.
So are we just gonna
Fine.
kick in her door and kick her ass? Is that the plan?
That
Uh-huh.
seems to be the plan.
Do we
Okay.
do we
Just
need
making
a
sure.
do we need more plan than that?
No, I just wanted to make sure that's what we were doing.
Like I said,
Oh.
planning is not my strong suit.
There's a second part of the plan. Win.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's important.
Fight, win.
I'm just before we go in. Actually, I'm going to rest my hand on Atherin's shoulder and
Oh.
say, "Steel yourself for the fight to come, my friend, and prepare for victory." And I'm doing bardic inspiration.
Hey,
Nice.
You have a D10,
sweet. Thank you.
and then I'm
All
saving
right.
this with psychic blades.
So there is a door. It's like a normalish door. Actually, has mechanical pieces. You can just open it, or if you prefer, kick it in. Zero. What's your passive perception?
25.
Okay.
Team crickets.
As you you notice at this point that the squirrel's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Oh shit!
Well, I said it. I'm gonna kick it.
Okay. I'm not gonna make you roll for that. You kick the front of the door down. It flies open, with the hinge bursting out of the stone of the meteorite. In there are 3 Githyanki, 1 who is Alchea, and 2 attendants. As well, there in the corner of the room is a young red dragon curled up, kind of like a cat, and it lifts its head up to look at you all. As the door gets kicked open, they begin to draw their weapons. And Alchea says, "Did we need to talk more?"
Can I do a stealth roll to slip through
Yes.
unseen?
Make a stealth.
I'll use a different dice for this. So that's a 2 for a total of 16.
All right. So as you go
An
in to
extra
slip
food.
into the room, Alchaya actually is just going to swing at you as
Okay.
she attacks you. And I'd like everyone to roll initiative.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
There we go.
Have
Oh.
a
Oh, wait, I have advantage. That's right.
Hey.
Oh, hey, that's way better.
6. Okay. Well, that's good.
Oh shit.
All right. She, however, only gets a 13 to hit you.
No, that misses.
But that is going to trigger dun, 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 fight mode.
But done fight mode.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jord.
I have a 20.
Nice.
Nice.
What?
I have a 25.
Zero.
Bards. I have a 15.
Adrian.
16.
All right, and yeah. All right. Adrian, what's your bonus?
-1.
Yeah.
Tied you, they will go before you.
Who did?
So the
Oh,
enemies.
I don't know. Okay. Okay. Great.
Fives. You dodge this gleaming silver greatsword.
Mhm.
It tries to cut you in half. As a little description, this is a pretty big room, actually quite large, with lavish-ish furnishings. It's like the furnishings are lavish, but not to your style. There's like a crystal bed slab and these polished black furnishings that like wall sconces, and there's a big polished black chest on the far wall. It's pretty nice, but definitely not your style, probably.
Mhm. No, 5s is very utilitarian.
There were also 13 stuffed mind flayer heads mounted on the back wall.
Impressive. That he likes.
Fives, your turn.
Okay. So, would my invisibility give me advantage? Just to
Yes.
clarify. It would. Okay. So there's a Chaya, 3 Githyanki, and is there a dragon to be seen?
There is a dragon. There's the red dragon curled up on the edge, leaped to its feet when she swung at you.
Okay. I'm going to. I think
Oh,
I'll
and the
do-
dragon is looking right at you.
Okay then. I'm just going to make a straight attack at Alchaya since she's in front of me. with advantage.
Yes.
So that is a with my rapier. That is a 26 to hit.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to burn one of my bardic inspirations for my psychic blades.
Yes.
So I have a lot of dice to roll, so bear with me.
Yeah.
So
You got psychic blades and sneak attack, right?
yep, that's 5. That's 66.
So hot.
So and then so 66 a d8 plus 4. So hold on. So 8, 11, 15. Wait, no, we need to. 15, 17, 20. Sorry. 20, 25, 29 points of damage.
I just realized that your psychic blades is psychic damage.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy that, and I do need that separate.
Oh, that would have been 20. I think no, 17.
Yeah, it's only 3d6. It can't be 20.
It's 5d6 because I'm level 10.
Right, you're 10 bard. All right, so of that 17, she takes half
Okay,
because
so
psychic resistance, and then the rest of it was how much?
12.
Okay, so she takes a total of 20 as you shiv her in the back.
And then bonus action disengage.
You don't need to because you're invisible.
That's a fair point. I'm backing away, and then, well, no, I'll stay where I am for the moment. Turn to the dragon and say, I have seen more threatening worms in my life. You are nothing. And I'm casting as a bonus action, Vicious Mockery.
How are you able to cast it as a bonus action?
Oh no, you're right. I'm misreading my spells. I'm sorry. I'm so nervous.
It's okay.
I'm just backing away into the corner then.
Okay.
I'm getting too nervous, sorry.
All right.
We got this. We got this. We got this.
You slash
just a dragon,
Elchaya
don't
in
worry.
the back, and she hefts her gleaming silver greatsword, and it kind of glints with a purplish light, and you can see the magic basically shining off of this weapon. Jord.
Oh, I thought she rolled higher than me in initiative. I was like, oh no!
You are the only person. They're next. I almost said Jord, like the J.
It's okay.
So he's next in the Jorder.
Yeah.
I will kill you.
So what is the configuration of the 3 Githyanki currently? Are they like in a line? Are they?
So the two guards were very respectfully at the corners of the room, to your right and to your left.
Okay, so I won't do that then. I will bonus action Hexblade's Curse on Elchaya.
All right. She feels the curse.
The curse, and then I will run up and try and smack her with my packed weapon.
All right. Twice.
So that's a 22 to hit.
Yes.
First. And the second, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to kill her. Oh, that's only a 19.
She's going to invoke a spell in response and shield that second attack.
So the second attack misses. Okay. So I do. Let's see here. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 regular magical piercing damage.
Okay.
I also do. Where did it go? Curse is. I do an additional 5 damage that I don't think it's typed.
I think Hexblade's curse is the same type.
Is it the same type? Because it doesn't say. Yeah. So okay. So 5 additional. So that's. What did I say?
I got it.
And then because of Life Drinker, I do an additional 5 necrotic damage.
Which also goes through.
Okay. I wasn't sure, so I wanted to give you types first, and then.
That's fair. All right. So describe you smashing her with what was the name of your?
I call it the Dark Blossom.
The Dark Blossom. I wrote it down just on the wrong page.
Yeah. So as it flashes, his eyes, which have been normally normal, like kind of whitish colored with like brown irises, they start to turn a little black as this Hexblade weapon starts coming into use, especially with the necrotic energy like sucking into her. And so the tines of the Morningstar actually start seeping this dark energy that starts to kind of like cascade down the haft of the weapon, irrespective of the fact that he's swinging it.
I like it. And you smash into her rib cage at first, and there's a little crack. But you bring it around the other side, and she's just like, I can't let that happen again, and invokes this bluish bubble that you bounce off of.
Okay. I will. That'll be my turn.
All right, it's their turn. Chaya is going to start us off. Yeah. She's going to cast a spell on herself. I generally.
Uh-oh.
Does anybody do the counterspell spell?
I did not take it.
Uh-oh.
I'm just.
Oh, you do?
Okay. So generally, I use
no.
the Xanathar's rules, which means someone has to use a reaction to identify the spell, before it goes off. That someone else can do that and then tell you what it is, though. That's allowed.
Oh.
Or you can just choose to counterspell it blind. That's also allowed.
Does anyone want to shout out into the room what she's casting?
In order to use your reaction to... No, I don't want to use my reaction in case she tries to move away from me. Sorry.
I'll do it.
All right, make me an Arcana check.
Okay.
No Arcana, so I'm used
All
to
right.
Yeah, I'm not trained in Arcana either. I'm just pretty and spells work.
18.
I just have God.
That is exactly enough. She's casting haste on herself.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, get rid of that.
Okay, I'll trust my friend and counterspell.
Okay, her spell fizzles. She's annoyed at that, and then she takes her sword and is going to swing it at Jord, who's right there. Just
Hey.
as counterspell comes out of the invisible person, she is going to swing one with a 27 to hit.
Oh, yeah, I hit a lot.
And swing two with a 29 to hit.
Holy shit.
And a crit on a 19.
Oh,
I am immune to crits because I'm wearing adamantine armor.
Hey.
Adamantine bros. I took
Boy, who
that
you
too.
fighting?
That's a good.
Actually, I'm so sorry. She also has disadvantage on both of her attacks because I have collective displacement on.
Okay, so the first one, both those rolls would have hit. So the first one hits.
So
Also,
then I'm canceled.
Yeah, that cancels. And then the second one, so
Is
one
that
hit,
regular? So and then the second one's at regular.
which is a 23.
I'm not going to use my shield spell, so yes, it'll hit.
Okay, so just 2 hits. So
2 hits.
great sword plus extra psychic damage.
Oh, no.
Good.
I don't have enough d8s.
Oh, good.
Resistant to psychic or magical slashing.
I unfortunately am not.
Okay. It all goes in one pile then.
That's never good when the DM gives you like the...
Jord explodes.
At least I wasn't critted.
That's true.
Little-
Like, I'm real
Okay,
glad
so
that-
on 2 slashes, he does 57 psychic and magical slashing damage as she wields this overlong silver greatsword in one hand, just Sephiroths you.
Woof.
You should be glad she wasn't hasted.
Yeah. Glad. Definitely glad. That's what this feeling is.
Yeah. And then she turns to look at Zira and says, I should have known none of you can be trusted with you. All right.
I would like to point out that that's racist. Oh.
The
He's
2
not
guards
wrong.
are going to go up on Atrian, who's still at the door.
Uh-oh.
They look a little less sure of themselves.
Have at the villains.
And actually, one of them is going to walk by and misty step past you to get to Zira.
Oh, you bastard.
And that one's going to make 2 greatsword attacks at 0.
Ruh-roh.
But that is a 9 and a 14.
Nope.
The other one's going to swing
I
twice.
just stare him in the eyes. I said, "You ain't got it in you."
The other one's going to swing twice at Atrian for an 18
That is exactly what he needs.
and a 17, which misses.
Yes.
Do you have psychic resistance?
Nope.
Didn't think so, but I had to check.
Just a dude.
Okay.
Just a dude.
He's
Light
just a
armor.
dude in the world.
I can't.
So you
It's
take-
all that will let him be.
They swing at you too. That one does 19 damage to you on the one hit.
Okay. That knocked out those temp HP.
And then the red dragon.
Hell yeah.
So the red dragon's going to leap forward, kind of like a cat, bound over, and it's going to look right at 5s because dragons have blind sight, and going to get, it's probably just Atrian in 5s in its breath attack.
Yep.
So I need both you to make dexterity saving throws.
Yep. That's great. That's the thing I'm the best at. Totally.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, 5s, you probably have a +4 from Atrian's aura right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that'd be 19.
19 saves.
Hold on.
I got a 23.
You're okay.
Roll the
Yeah.
20. Roll the 20.
Nice.
Yeah, paladins.
Yeah.
That's why I take Shield Master with paladins.
I don't have a shield.
I'm gonna be Captain America.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, remind me, your aura is a +4 to saves, right?
+4. Yes. If
Nice.
you are within 10
Perfect.
feet of me.
All right, so that is 48 fire damage, halved to 24 for both of you.
Okay.
It's a little toasty.
As it bounds forward, you shall feel the char of Zolcharks. And he shoots out his fire, and a bad pun. And that is their turn. Atrian.
Okay. So how close is the dragon to me?
You could easily get to the dragon, but there's a Githyanki warrior in your way.
Right. Well, I'm going to guess that Zira can handle 2 scrub Githyanki. If I'm wrong, I'll come back. But I'm going to use the trick the Githyanki used, and I'm going to Misty Step through the one in front of me
Sure.
to get to this dragon.
All right.
Nice.
You teleport right in front of Zolcharks, and he's surprised. And you're gonna go murder with your fancy sword?
I'm a sword him a question. Two of them, in fact.
Becomes so meta.
It's 17.
17 just barely misses.
Okay.
You do have
And then-
inspiration if you want to use it.
yeah, I think I have to use it before I know the result, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Before
Yeah.
you check if you hit or not, after you
Right,
know what you
yeah.
roll. You gave
So-
me inspiration. Did I miss that?
Yeah, he gave it to me right before we ran in the door.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that.
My second attack is a 22.
Yeah, easily hits this dragon. It's like
Okay.
so preoccupied from dodging your first attack that it just runs straight into your second one.
Haha! Okay, so because I have a Dragon Slayer Greatsword, it's going to do an extra 3d6 to him.
Just a 5d6
Yeah.
weapon. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I'm also a high enough level of Paladin that I'm kind of smiting all the time, so that means I get to roll a d8 on top of it.
5d6 plus 1d8 plus static with as an at will. That's really terrifying.
So that is 27, unless he's resistant to radiant damage.
Nope.
Okay.
As do you want to describe how you hit it, or do you want me to?
Sure, I'll let you take it. It's fine.
Sure. As you teleport into this in front of this dragon, you kind of appear with like a jump slash Link style, and the dragon stretches aside, but you just take the thing and swing it right to the left along the ground and up into its flank, and as you slice into it, its skin just peels open and almost recoils from the magic of your sword, and it spits at you and says, "That painful sword, you need to die."
You can try.
You made a friend. Good job.
Thanks. I'll take this one.
I guess it should probably said that in Draconic, to be fair.
I speak Draconic. You made a
Hey.
friend.
Yeah.
You all take the other 6. I'll get this one.
Zira, your turn.
I would like to cast Blight on the leader, on Alchaya.
All right. As you go to
Con
cast a
save, please.
spell, she flicks her hand and goes to cast counterspell.
Oh.
Fuck. She's got to roll it, right?
She does. She's only doing it at 3rd level. Her bonus it casts with.
Wait, hasn't she used shield before, right?
And then she took her turn.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I beat
All right.
her in initiative.
That's right. Damn.
But that's only a 10. That doesn't work. Her counterspell fails.
Hey, Blight. Okay.
As your blight flies out with this sickening bolt of necrotic, and she shoots out a silvery bolt of psychic energy, and they meet, and you're just it's like twice the size of hers, and just pushes right past it into her as the. Oh well, is she safe? All right, she does save. So
Okay.
the sickening blight energy goes into her, but as it courses through her veins and appears on her skin, she does hardy herself against it and doesn't take the full brunt.
20. But she will be taking 20. Yeah, 27 halved to what? 13? 13.
27 on 8d8 is kind of sad.
Yeah, I know.
That's unfortunate. That's okay though. You beat the counter spell. It felt cool.
Yeah, it did feel cool.
All right. So anything else you'd like to do? You have one warrior on your back and one about 5 feet in front of you.
Right. So, and then how rough are people looking?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
According to the D&D Beyond overlay, which we totally know.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. Cool. Good.
I am the only one that is yellow.
Jord got hit by her. Everyone else saved against Dragonfire or got hit by small things.
Right. So with a bonus action, I will just utilize 4 dice from my pool.
So that means I automatically get 4 temps, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you will also get 4 temp. So you are, I rolled okay on this at least. 8, 12, 16. So 16 hit points plus 4 temp.
That's pretty good.
Very nice. That's minty fresh.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
All right. And that is your turn. It's back up to 5s.
Okay. Can I position myself in a way where I'm in 30 feet of every enemy? Is such a thing possible?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get there without being hit?
You're invisible. People can't take aways against you.
That's a good point. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot.
Except for the dragon.
Except for the dragon. The dragon has blindside.
Okay.
But the dragon isn't in a position to be concerning from that.
I'm going to walk there then. And let me check. Is it concentration to cast this? It is not. So all everyone hears is the words, "I'm tired of this already. I am the whisper in the shadows." And suddenly there are strikes against everyone as I'm casting a Steel Wind Strike. So every enemy
Nice.
gets
And they all have advantage because invisibility.
Yep. And
Good
it's 6 to
combo.
10 if I hit. Now where am I? Okay, so go for Alchaya first.
Sure. You can't shield it.
That is a 25 to hit.
Easily.
Okay. She takes, give me a minute, 10, 19, 26, 32, 40 points of force damage.
If you'd like, we can apply the same damage to all the targets to save time.
Yeah, that'd be easier.
Okay, so 40
Okay.
damage to her, and then the dragon.
Yep, heal next. I'll roll to attack. Advantage. That is a 22.
Yes, easily.
Okay, so
you
40.
take
to him.
40. And then the Githyanki warriors.
Let's see. I'll just say warrior 1, warrior 2, warrior 3. And
Yeah, that's how I have them labeled right now.
so that's dirty 20. No, that's 22 for the first.
Yes.
So 40.
You take 40.
That's dirty 20 for the second.
That also hits. You hit everyone.
And
For
there was one more, right?
No, there's 2 Githyanki, Alchaya, and the dragon. Only
Okay.
4 enemies.
And I'll appear invisible still behind Alchaya.
Sure. So as you walk to this center point, there's just it goes full anime as there's just and every enemy just and you actually notice that one of the Githyanki, to both the Githyanki, you look mortally wounded from that. Like they are grossly bleeding and heavily damaged. They're not down, but they're close.
And now
Nice.
instead of a bonus action, where is it? I'm trying to find the right thing I'm looking for. Yeah, I'll do a quick healing word on Jord.
Sure.
So Jord hears the whisper of, "Stay strong within this nightmare," and I'll do it at first level.
Sure.
So that's 1d4 plus 5. So Jord heals 9. And that's my turn.
All right.
I will
Excuse
do
me.
my best.
It is now George's turn.
Hello. Yes, I would like to hit the leader again.
Sure.
Nope. God, dice. Bye. I got it.
It went away.
That's a 19.
That hits.
It's a reaction. Yes.
Yeah, she already used counterspell this round. And didn't
That's
even
right.
work.
That's
And
right.
I'll just swing at her again. Higher than that, so I'm guessing that hits it.
Yes. And her AC inexplicably doubled between attacks.
Doubles, yeah. All right, so she was not immune to anything, so I will give you everything together. So let's.
Sounds good.
15 plus 7. 22 on the first.
22 on the first. Yep. She's still up.
22 on the second.
All right. So 44. So you take the dark blossom, your mace shrouded in darkness and shadow, and you deliver a nice combo where you smash her in the belly and she doubles over, and then you just bring it up into her chin, and you can hear her neck crack as she gets forced backwards. And you can see her chin, her jaw's a little dislodged from it, and she's breathing heavy. Anything else in your turn?
Unfortunately, I do not have any bonus actions that I can use at this time, so no.
All right. It is
That
their
looked like
turn.
that hurt.
Alchaya is going to cast a spell.
I was muted. If anyone wants to tell me, counter spell.
Okay. You counter her Misty Step. It works.
Okay.
And she curses.
Yes,
She looks,
please run away from me.
She looks back towards the back of the room, and she's going to go to cast another spell using her action.
I can't do anything.
Yeah. As she casts Message off upwards.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Well,
And she goes to her knees with her sword, holding herself up. She says, "You can kill me, but can you kill her?"
mm-hmm.
Goofed.
It is now the dragon's turn. I'm gonna roll a d6 to see if it recharges his breath weapon.
Yeah.
It does not.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
small miracles.
yeah, the dragon is going to do its full attack combo at. No, I think it. Fives is right behind Alchaya because that's where you reappeared after Steel Wind Strike, and he wants to protect her, and it knows it's the only one who can see you, so it's gonna go up to fives.
I expected as such. Bring it on.
All right, so its bite attack is gonna be a 19.
Yes, that'll hit. I don't think I have anything against that. I don't.
Claw number 1 is a 12. Claw number 2 is a 22.
Are they to hit or
So
damage?
a bite and a claw.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the 12 misses.
Resistant to fire damage.
I'm resistant to nothing.
Okay.
And I assume I'm dead.
It's not that bad. It's a young dragon.
Mala that we gotta worry about.
All right,
That's
he
right.
does total with his
That's
slash
right.
and claw bite. He does 30 damage to you.
Ooh. Okay.
Over 2 attacks. So I need you to make 2 DC 10 concentration checks for greater invisibility.
Yep. So the first is where's my con? That's a 16.
Yeah, you only need 10.
Okay, and the second, that is another 16. 2 15s.
All right, that is dragon turn. The 2 guards, well, they're almost dead, but they're really loyal.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's a fatal trait, I hear.
So it really is sometimes. So the one behind behind 0 is going to make 2 swings at her.
All right.
But that's a 18.
Shield.
All right, you have shield.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Get the rye. One use.
1 per day, and the other one's only 11, so 2 misses. The other one, shield go off is like, well, that's not. Oh, and that one's going to, after a swing at you, Misty Step to Alchaya.
Okay.
To protect her. The other one is going to Misty Step and swing at Jord. Whoop. That is a 12 and
Nope.
a 9.
Nope.
And they both look at each other like they're sharing the looks of 2 men that are about to die.
Doomed. Yes.
Yes. Ooh, doomed people. And that's them. Atrian.
I'm going to point at the dragon and say, "No, fight me!" And I'm going to cast as a bonus action, Compelled Duel.
That makes a charisma save?
It is a Wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Nice.
All right.
Compelled duel.
That is a 6.
So
Yeah.
for the next minute, as long as I maintain concentration, it has disadvantage on attack rolls against anything other than me. And it must make another save if it attempts to move more than 30 feet away from me.
All right. So you compel the duel, and the dragon turns to back at you.
And I introduce it again to my sword.
You guys are going to be on
All
a
right.
first name basis.
So attack number 1, that is a 21
Yes.
to hit.
Nice.
Swing number 2 is a 24.
Yes.
Okay, so damage from the first hit is 32 altogether.
And the first hit and the second hit?
Yep. And then the second hit is 28.
32 is good. 28.
So bad. So mean. You're like fireballing the dragon.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Oh, God.
What's
just-
Struck the dragon
Healing into it.
almost double the amount of damage the dragon has taken so far in this combat. As you just hew into it, its skin just roiling back from the magical weapon that is its very bane.
Yep.
Nice.
My
All
intention
right.
is very much if I kill it, Mama will come at me, and you will all hopefully be safe because she'll be so mad at me. But then I'll die in a round, so then you're all on your own.
Zira.
Ooh. All right. So the three the three get the Yankee are all bunched up together, yes?
And yes, and they all seem so. Alchaya's looks very weak, and the two other ones are also weak, but they're trying to protect her.
And is anyone else near them?
Me and Fives. We're on the other side of them.
Yeah. Honestly, all the melee combatants are pretty close.
Okay. In that case, instead, I think it's time for just why not another blight? Ow.
On Alchaya?
Yeah. Wait, the dragon.
Okay.
Cause how bad does Alchaya look?
Very bad.
Real rough.
Really bad.
You guys can clean her up. The dragon is more important at the moment.
Okay.
All right.
All right, on the dragon.
That is a 22.
Yeah, I figured, but at least I can roll half damage.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
like,
too many.
con
Two.
on a dragon.
I know. 2, 4, 6, 8. That went somewhere
I heard
else.
one go
Not here.
flying.
Yep, it's not here anymore. I rolled a different one. It's fine. Why am I rolling all these 2s? All right,
You
this was
tell
a
me.
mistake. It's gonna take a total of after halved 10.
Dragon takes 10 necrotic damage.
10 necrotic, and I'm gonna put up healing spirit on top of 5s.
Yeah, you know where he is currently because the dragon swung at him. So sure.
Right.
So when 5 starts his turn in there, and he's next.
I saw a lot of
he'll
blood.
Yeah. Are you casting at base level?
Yes.
Okay, so
Because I
when-
already cast a spell, so it needs to be second level or lower. So
right. So now are you done?
that's it.
5s, you turn. You regain 1d6 hit points from healing spirit.
Okay, who rolls that?
I will roll that for you. 5.
Thank you. Fitting.
Yep.
Hey.
5 for 5s.
Mhm. Okay. It's my turn. So let's see. You said Alchaya's looking rough.
Real rough.
Is
She's
the
like
dragon?
kneel to the ground, holding herself up on her greatsword.
What about the dragon?
The dragon is not looking great either, but certainly a lot better than she is.
Okay. I think Atrian could probably just smite that dragon into nothing. So I'm just going to go for Alchia.
All right.
So I'll do. Let's see. She's resist. She's resistant psychic. Oh well. Sneak attack. Stab her in the back with my rapier.
You have advantage.
So that's 28 to hit.
She tries to use her shield, but you just pierce straight through it and into her chest as she has 1 hit point left.
Okay, as she dies, this is what
Yeah.
everyone sees. They see her shadow seem to bleed away from her and gather around a point in front of her, as I am going to use my Whisper Bard feature to claim her shadow.
And that like makes her body disappear, right?
Pardon?
It makes her body disappear, right?
No, I just capture
Okay.
the shadow and I can use it before a long rest. As an action, I can assume that form for an hour, and while disguised, I gain enough information to pass myself off as them.
All right.
So I'm
So
keeping that in reserve.
Clutch.
A unseen blade slays Alchaya, and a darkness flows from her out of the wound to the space you're in. You
And then
captured.
everyone hears the words of This is what happens if you go against the whispers. And I'm using healing word on myself.
Sure.
As I'll try to die, since she is the subject of my Hexblade curse, because I have Master of Hexes, I'm going to move it to the dragon.
Seems good.
Yeah.
So I
Nice.
heal 6. I heal 11.
Seems good.
And that is my turn.
Jord.
I will turn to the Githyanki at my right and be like, hello. Boom. I'm assuming a 24 hits him?
Yes. You can't not kill him. He has 9 hit points.
Yeah, I kill him, and then after he dies, should I do it now?
Spend your
why
life.
Do it.
I'm gonna bring him back as a specter.
So you rip his soul out of his dying body and embody it as a specter.
We are
Bound
a
you with.
creepy bunch.
And right about now, Adrian's like, "Who am I with?"
Yeah.
Actually, as he hits him, and it the mace comes back, you can see the tendrils that were going downwards go into the body and begin to pull the spirit out. And
I love it.
You hear a voice say, "Now you are mine."
Adrian's like, heroes?
Heroes,
Definitely
right?
heroes.
Right, guys?
And then I'm hoping a 19 hits the other Githyanki.
Yeah. Do they have access to shield?
Githyanki usually
No.
does.
So yes.
Does he have more than 15 hit points?
Now he also has 9 hit points.
Then he also dies.
Because they have 49 and 5's hit them all for 40.
If only I'd rolled 9 more, that would have been so brilliant. Just 2 dropping dead. Oh well.
And I will tell the specter to attack the dragon.
All right. Why don't you roll an attack for it now?
All right. Let's see. Does this thing? Oh, it doesn't actually give me the specter's stuff. I forgot to put it in here. I rolled a 2, so I'm guessing he misses.
Yeah. That solves that problem.
So
It is now dragon turn. So dragon turn, see if it recharges breath weapon. It does not. The dragon, looking around, seeing everybody dead, including its bound rider, is going to leap towards the door. The only person in the way of the door directly is Zira, but everybody else gets an opportunity attack.
Okay.
I get to do a cool thing called Booming Blade on my opportunity attack.
Warcaster.
Nice.
Oh,
Very
that's
nice.
cocked. And come on, roll a 19 because he's got my Hexblade curse on
I'm
him.
going to use my inspiration die on mine.
Sure.
It's only a 17.
Would I
That-
have?
Misses. You have
would I have
advantage because you're.
advantage?
Oh no, because the dragon can see you. So no.
Okay. So nice.
Does a 23 hit the dragon?
Yes.
Okay, so he takes.
And he's just going to keep moving. So do the extra damage too.
Yep.
Does 18 hit?
18 cracks exactly.
So it hit.
As I have Relentless Avenger, so whether I hit or not, when I make an opportunity attack, I can move up to half my speed.
So you're going to follow.
So yeah, I move 15 feet in the direction of the dragon.
I
Okay.
do 10
After
piercing.
it.
Okay, 5 does 10 piercing. And how much is the booming?
Oh, you need it separate?
No, just I was just referring to your attack.
So then 45 damage.
Oh
So,
my god.
Back in the day, back in the 4th edition, when Booming Blade was a sword mage at will, I had a friend who played a
Yeah,
sword
it
mage a
was.
lot. He liked to go, Booming Blade!
I had that
Every
friend
time
too.
that spell happens, that's what plays in my head. And as this dragon goes to jump, you just Booming Blade right on the spine on its haunches, and just this rippling thunder flows through it, and you can hear its bones breaking and cracking as it slides to the ground, sliding across the smooth stone and coming to rest dead at 0 speed.
I was going to say if it was still alive, I'd have to make a wisdom saving throw to move more than 30 feet away from me. Because
I
it's
don't
still
think this dragon making it out of there.
Probably not. It was still compelled. So, but
Okay.
hey,
I get 19 hit points back because he was he was part of my curse.
That's right.
Yep.
So,
And right about then, you hear a booming voice in Draconic. You're not making it off of this rock alive, small, insignificant insects. Prepare to be roasted. And that's where we're gonna cut for the week.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
oh
Yep.
no.
That went wrong in all the best ways.
Yep. Ooh.
Cool.
I was really hoping we were going to be able to use the shadow to not die, but I guess not.
That was my
It's
intent.
fine. We got this. We got this.
Yeah, I mean, you're not dead yet.
We are not dead yet. We can dance and we can sing.
Yeah.
I got a
Let's-
Dragon Slayer sword and most of my spell slots for smites.
That's good.
Not saying I'm
I mean-
going to solo this dragon because
I've got a decent amount of healing left.
Yeah. All right, let's go around and find out where we can find everyone on the internet and give a little bit of plugs. I'll start because I'm me. Hi, I'm Nat, Crime Nat. That's my Twitter handle. I'm the Tuesday DM. Hi, glad it's Tuesday. Have a nice Tuesday to you. Every day is Tuesday. Don't question it. You can find me on Mondays in Counter Roleplay at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, that's right. On the Ravnica Unleashed game. And also Wednesdays at 7:30 Eastern Time on the Phantom Roll Booth for Dungeons and Deductibles, where we play insurance adjusters. And that one's very silly and fun. And of course, next week at this exact same time, once again for Dungeon of the Mad Mage on Favorite Rolls. That's me. Why don't we go to the Zach?
Hi, I'm Zach. You can find me on the internet on Twitter at Sir Gorls. Gorls is spelled Gourls. Don't have anything to plug other than you'll be able to find me for the next couple of weeks on this very stream. And yeah, that's about it for right now.
I don't know where you're pointing because
Adam, it's you.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm
Nope.
Adam. Nope. Who?
Nope.
This
Yeah, that was
Oh,
me.
that's Sam.
No,
That's Sam.
Opposed to Sam. Well, Adam, go. I'm bad at this.
no.
I'm
There we go.
Adam. I'm at Adam _J_Pearson on the Twitters. That's where I spend most of my time. I also sometimes we play on Tuesdays at the Geeky Bugbear Twitch stream. We're currently playing Tome of Annihilation and mostly being annihilated, not doing a lot of toming. And yeah, and then I will be here for the next couple of weeks as well.
Now, Sam.
Okay, now me. Okay, so I'm Sam or Samuel. I can be found on Twitter as Eldritch Warlock, although I'll be honest, not that active on Twitter. Similar to the rest, I can be found for the next couple of weeks here on Variant Roles, but I can also be found on the RPG Lab on Mondays at 7 p.m. GMT, which would be 2 p.m. EST, I think. Time zones, they're complicated. And I think that's everything.
All right. And of course, Alexis.
Here. So I am. My name's Alexis. You can find me on Twitter at VoxFanato, and as I said before, I'm part of Dice Priori. We have a game every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, which has a lot of similar things like this. We've been to space twice. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of drama and intrigue, and yeah, it's you'll feel all the feels. I can guarantee you'll feel all the feels. I'm also here every Saturday. I've started doing my own little craft stream every now and then, so you can find that sporadically there. And Tuesday, we're having our premiere of Dragon Heist, and I will be co-DMing that on the Dice Priority channel at
But Alexis,
9:30 p.m. Central.
but
So
Alexis, which Tuesday?
all Tuesdays,
You're streaming every day of the week?
every Tuesday. streaming on all the Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Central. And
So
it is,
late.
yes, it's a premiere this coming Tuesday, March 5th. I'm so excited. And yeah, so that's coming up.
All
Stay
right.
tuned for that.
I'd like to thank everybody. Audience, you're lovely. My players are amazing. I had a good time. And of course, thank you to the people at Variant Roles and Dan, especially, who not only organizes Variant Roles, but is running tech for this very stream right now. And he's excellent. And I think we're ready to go. Bye.